Welcome back to another episode of the Otter Players Podcast, where this week we will talk about the battle and ongoing stages of the digital and physical media going on with PlayStation and the industry as a whole, difficulty in gaming and how it affects your enjoyment or not at all, as well as Square Enix, Capcom, and Take Two reporting 90% digital sales. And on a more positive note, we will jump into what we are looking forward to as we've gotten tons of previews as the onslaught for the fall and winter season is upon us, and lots of excitement and things have been happening ahead of Gamescom, and there's plenty to talk about. But before we get into that, we'll see what everybody's been playing, because playing the game is what it's all about, and there has been a ton of that to do lately, even with all the noise and all the distractions. So yeah, we'll see what everybody's been playing. Weeb, how are you, sir? And what have you been playing?
I'm good. Thank you for asking. Yeah, you're not kidding. Playing is what gaming is about. Huh? It's news for me, at least according to Twitter. But yeah, I've been playing a ton of games. Finished the DLC for Doom: The Dark Ages, Revelations. Weren't really a lot of revelations, but I mean, for a Doom game, I guess it had some exposition towards our Doom guys' past, which were just three very short playable sections, but which were kind of interesting to see if they want to go back to that part of the story, which basically means it's just going to be a generic shooter, but we'll see. Though I have very little hope that they're actually gonna continue anything with Doom, considering they gutted like more than half of the the developers of that studio. Um, Even though they have, I guess, put in some hooks for potential sequels. But yeah, yeah, was pretty fun. I'm still missing, of course, the legendary soundtrack of Mick Gordon. I mean that's a relationship they screwed up all on their own. They didn't need Microsoft to do that for them. That's something that yeah, they will never get back, and it will never be as good as it was. So I guess it is what it is. Also played a bit more Cyberpunk, but mostly been sort of tweaking the mods, so I didn't make a lot of progress there. I played a bit of the Hong Kong Massacre, which had a physical release on Switch, and so I've been buying like crazy the last couple of weeks. I mean, I think on record I now have bought or pre-ordered 88 physical games this year. Um, so yeah, I decided maybe I should play a few of them. So I tried that. It's sort of um yeah, basically it's a Hotline Miami, but with more realistic graphics, I guess. It is uh, it's not as fun as Hotline Miami. It's certainly challenging, but more to the frustrating kind where you don't really have a lot of options. You kind of have to unlock your based on how well you do the level. You get certain points you can use to upgrade your either your weapons or unlock more weapons. There are some, you know, typical sort of Hong Kong style, I guess. Sort of if you ever play Stranglehold, you know what I mean. Kind of things you can do, like you can jump over tables or through windows. Uh, but yeah, I still have to kind of find the fun in it. I guess the problem as well is that I really realized that if once I play the Switch 2 on the handheld mode, that the ergonomics of the thing are fucking terrible. Like I get cramp in my hands like in no time. Like it's insane. Like I mean, there are very few handhelds that really do it. Like the original Switch wasn't great either, but it was lighter, and you could buy the Hori pads, which were excellent. Um, I mean, the Steam Deck also has kind of the issue that is a bit too heavy to hold on to for long. I mean, the Portal again is excellent because it's basically the PlayStation controller, but with a screen split in between. But yeah, it's not a native handheld. Um, so yeah, that's kind of sort of as a side note observation. Also played a new game on Steam when I played the demo for Agent 64, Spies Never Die, which is literally, as the name says, is basically just a love letter, I guess, to the old 64 shooters, GoldenEye, Perfect Dark. It's literally like made in those graphics. Uh, I suspect they just ripped the sort of the audio samples, like the voices from the or the grunts from the enemies, because they sound exactly the same. They even do these ridiculous rolls when they're like in front of you and try to dodge you, but they're just these pre-programmed rolls that don't really make any sense. Like they're just doing it when you're staring at them, and like, dude, I can see you, dude. Like, I you're so slow. I can immediately just you're giving me a chance to shoot you. But yeah, it is fun to play. I guess like a typical boomer shooter in a sense, but then yeah, made in an N64 style. Only frustrating part of it is that it has um, a system where you unlock the next chapter. You need to have a certain amount of points, which you can't get immediately by just playing the game. You have to, for some reason, you have to then replay a different difficulty, even though you complete normal, and then okay, you have to play easy again to get like another token for the next level. And initially when I played, like it was like a ridiculous amount. Like I had like I was missing like 15 or something, like, and I just beat all the levels and like okay. And then I thought, yeah, fuck this shit. I quit the game, and then immediately there was a patch, and I guess it was a bug, or somebody pointed out that maybe that wasn't really a great way to keep people engaged, so they fixed that, and then immediately I was able to play the next level. But yeah, I don't know what they were thinking there, but yeah. But overall, it's a fun, short, yeah, N64 homage game. So I definitely recommend if you're a fan of those games and want to play it without the janky controls, and really enjoy it with your yeah, basically the PS5 controller, or your Steam Deck. And I've also decided to go back into my retro library and uh, started Illusion of Gaia again, which is one of the unofficial quintet trilogy of Square Enix, or Enix at that time, of which Terra Nigma, my favorite game of all time, is also part of. But Illusion of Gaia was the one that I've started a couple of times and never really finished. And I don't know why, because actually it's pretty fun. It is, it's very much. I mean, Terranigma is obviously the goat, but it has that quintet style. It has that sort of that immediately you're intrigued by what's going on, like the setting, like the sort of world built on around the Tower of Babel. You're basically, I guess, an orphan where your parents have gone missing, and you're living with your grandparents, and you're yeah, somehow summoned by the king to he wants a certain ring from your father which you don't have, and then he throws you in jail, and then you basically already have like a basic attack, but at a certain point you unlock abilities to turn into yeah, sort of super heroic knight. That's yeah, basically your badass form. And it's pretty cool, pretty interesting. So I'm gonna try to finish it this time around. Again, I don't know why I never finish it, but it's one of those games where you're like, okay, you're playing it interesting, and then you're like, oh yeah, there's you know an onslaught coming of games that are recent that you kind of want to play, FOMO, whatever. But yeah, I mean, I do have a little time. I think end of next week, or yeah, I think maybe 2 weeks or something until the onslaught starts. So yeah, I'll try to push one more out, and hopefully because I'm keeping a tally of the games of finish. I think at that point I might get to the 39 no 30 games finished this year. So I hopefully I'll be able to squeeze a few more in, and because yeah, definitely I'm definitely on a roll this year. Like that, I'm keeping track on what I did this year and last year, and like, oh yeah, definitely a lot more output. Maybe I'll play a bit more indie games, but still, it's great to see like a list of your completion of games. Like yeah, I played them and I stuck to it and I finished them and maybe got the plat. Uh, yeah, sense of accomplishment, whatnot. So yeah, that's what I've been playing.
Cool. Sounds like you've been busy enjoying the new PC,
Yep.
as well as your PlayStation still, and being on a physical tear. So, yeah, I mean, you are enjoying it the way it is supposed to be,
Yep.
sir. Um, but yeah, Morgan, how are you, ma'am, and what have you been playing?
Yeah, I'm good. Um, yeah, I'm kind of in that similar situation where I'm in that limbo before the onslaught of games start for the fall. I stupidly forgot that um Mafia, the old country Man of Honor DLC dropped yesterday. I forgot to get it, and
Yep.
I'm gonna get that today and play that today. Yeah, unfortunate. I probably could have beat that yesterday, and unfortunately, I forgot. That's on me though. Um, But yeah, other than that, I have been playing essentially like Persona 3 Reload. I've already played it, but I needed to go back because I'm trying to get the plat on this game. Okay. And it's one of those things that's been in the backlog forever. And since I have time, I just want to go back and get it. So yeah, I'm kind of replaying it, trying to make sure that I do everything I need to in order to get the plat for this game. Big Persona fan, so I'm enjoying it, even though, I've already played this, so I'm playing it again, but it is what it is. Um, Also, what else did I play? Um, Still playing on Avatar, Frontiers of Pandora, in and out. Really good. It's just, it's Ubisoft, so the game's huge, so it's gonna take me a while. I don't know if I'm going to finish it before my the other games that are taking priority for me come out, but we'll see. Um, Got to play, I think Nate talked about this last week, but I wasn't here. So got to play Reanimal, the DLC, the first DLC, The Prisoner, with Nate on co-op. It was fun. As creepy as always. Atmospheric. If you haven't played the first two Little Nightmares, they didn't make Little Nightmares 3, and it's very evident because Little Nightmares 3 is just not as good as the first two. But they branched off and made their own studio, and they made Reanimal instead. And it's just a very cool, very gory, very twisted kind of Little Nightmares esque game. So if you're a fan of those, I highly recommend because they have two more DLCs coming out after this, and I think the next DLC is supposed to come in winter, and then the third in spring, if I remember correctly. So yeah, they have a nice little cadence of DLCs coming out, and they're fun. Took about like an hour, maybe two, to beat the DLC. Not too big, but a nice little addition uh, to the original content, and you get to kind of see a different perspective because you're playing two different characters in the same setting. So I'm pretty sure we're going to run into our characters that we played in the original game. So yeah, it was very cool. uh Other than that, I think that's pretty much it. I did play some Ghost Recon Wildlands, also with Innate, and Priscilla and Sanctus. The first time that it came out with the 4K 60 update. We played a couple of missions. I need to get back to that because I do love Wildlands. But
Absolutely.
again, I am juggling so much right now, but I will definitely get back to that. The update's nice, very crispy, very smooth. I appreciate Ubisoft for, given a free update. They didn't have to, but it was nice because Wildlands is definitely my favorite. I'd prefer that over the newer
Breakpoint.
Ghost Recon. Yeah, Breakpoint was just, this is why I can't even remember the name. It was just terrible. Didn't enjoy it at all. But Wildlands is it's great. So, 4K 60 update, I will absolutely take that any day of the week. So yeah, I'm just enjoying my time with that. It's a really fun, you know, game where you have to go in, you can either play with people or not. You can play single player as well. The AI in the game that you play with, because you play with three other players. So if you're not playing with anyone, the other three are just like AI companions, and they're actually very good. They take orders very well. You can synchronize your shots while you infiltrate like
And they don't miss.
bad guys. Yeah, they don't miss at all. You'll point at a bad guy, tell them to shoot it. You're making sure you're shooting guys that are obviously not around anyone else because you don't want to alert the entire fort that you're there. So you just point, tell them to shoot. They do. They like Nate said, they don't miss. So the AI companions are really good. Um, and you just kind of work your way into it. You're the whole story is essentially you're taking down this drug lord in Bolivia, and so in order to do that, you have to take down his people, the people that he has under him. You take down their bases and their bases of operations, and slowly but surely you get to the final boss, kind of very Ubisoft-esque style, but it's done very well, and the story is actually really good. Um, but yeah, I'm enjoying replaying that game. I think it came out what, like 2013 or something like that. So yeah, it was very random that it got an update, but I think it's because they're about to introduce the newer Ghost Recon. Apparently, it's close to being announced, so I guess they're just kind of updating the older games. So I'll take it.
Yeah, it was
But yeah, that's
2017, by the way.
2017. Okay. Damn, I thought it was older than that. All right. But yeah, that's pretty much what I've been playing. Definitely got to get on that Mafia though, because that I had that on the calendar and completely forgot for some reason. I don't know why, but yeah.
Cool. Yeah, again, a lot of good stuff to play. Like you said, whether you got a little backlog, going back to games you hadn't finished or whatnot, and then obviously, like you said, right before, really kind of squeezing in what you can right before the the ceiling, collapses on top of us with all these games. Starting on August 27th, especially, where there's like 3 or 4 games coming out on that day, which is insane. Um, so yeah, absolutely. Omar, how are you, sir? And what have you been playing?
Yeah, so I'm fine surviving. As for what I've been playing, I finished Beast of Reincarnation. Um, I really want to love this game. I truly do. It just it. How do I say? I like it held back a lot by repetitive boss fight. Like it's almost like Game Freak is afraid to show any new boss fight uh, gameplay. They only do that literally close to the end of the game. The first
See,
three
I
boss
called
fights
it,
that you
Nate. Sorry, Omar, but I did call that. I said that would be Omar's biggest problem would be the repetitive bosses,
You did.
and I
You
figured
did.
I was like that's gonna be Omar's
but it's
last
not
strike
my
with
only
this
pet.
game.
I'm not the only one with this pet peeve.
Oh, I know. I just when I heard that was an issue, I was like, oh, that's gonna be an issue for Omar because I know you and I know that's how you feel about games
No,
with repetitive bosses.
the,
So I was just like,
the,
and the fact
the
that you
issue
didn't
is
talk about it at all in the chat, I was like, yeah, he's kind of lukewarm on the game right now.
the issue is that they want to make an adult game, but at the same time give kid gameplay. Like I can parry, and you clearly are capable enough to make bosses more aggressive. Why did you leave that out to literally close to the end of the game? I was like the first two, maybe even three bosses. I'm like, did they literally just repeated the same boss attack animation, just added one or two hits and call it a day? The frustrating part is, and again, this is for me, I need to emphasize on that front. I truly feel the story is one of the best story I've played.
Wait, what?
Yeah, no, the story is really deep.
Bruh,
Like
wait a minute.
it's
This is so weird because this is like the complete opposite of every single take I've heard from every person that has played this game. They
I
have
am I
all
am
said that the story
I
is
am
the absolute worst part of the game.
no,
Period.
the story I think maybe they're complaining about the NPC because the NPCs are not good, but the story itself, what happened, it's absolutely phenomenal, and I love stuff like this. I know some people in chat are playing it right now, so I don't want to give too much away story wise, spoilers wise. But I truly enjoyed the story, especially the plot twist and stuff like that. Stage based of reincarnation. Um, so the story is absolutely there. It just um the game clearly was way too ambitious for Game Freak on its own. Like and what you call it, main villain needs a lot of build up that didn't get that. Side villain needs a lot of build up that didn't get that. And that's the frustrating part. Like I was talking to um what's his name, Frost, uh, on Twitter, Black Frost, and he's I'm further ahead than him, and we were talking like there is something called a spirit stone. Basically, equip it for your character. It gives her a different passive ability. I'm like, cool, no problem. There is ability to make a copy of such stone. I'm like, okay, cool, no problem. But your stones don't stack. So if I have two stones and I equip them, I can equip them. I just waste a slot because the slot don't stack. The abilities don't stack. I'm like, so what's the point of the copy stone then? So this is what I'm talking about. Like, I truly feel Game Freak needed a big publisher behind the game for it to flourish. They
I
had
mean,
a
Game
lot of
Freak makes a bunch of money with Pokemon, though. They don't need a big publisher. They just
they are known for how trash Pokemon is.
yeah. But the thing is, Game Freak didn't even really make this game. They outsourced most of it.
No, I
Like,
know. I am aware that they outsourced most of it. The complaint that I'm giving is literally from Game Freak themselves. I literally,
I mean, I don't
me
think a
and Black
publisher
Frost.
being behind them is going to fix design flaws. I think that is the way you're explaining it
I'm
as a
talking about the
fix is a
gameplay part.
misconception. That's what I'm
Game
explaining.
Freak is the
I
one.
got you. Hold on. But you said I feel like they needed a big publisher. A publisher does not fix game design flaws. That is a game developer thing. So I'm explaining that the way you just stated that doesn't make any sense because publisher would not
Okay,
fix that.
I think they needed way more time, and it's clearly shown with how much they are trying to patch it with the game. Like
I mean
this
that's like
game,
every game these days, but yeah.
um, mm, this game went from a 7 when I was playing it to arguably a 4, mostly because of
damn.
the lack of quality of control it have. It have arguably one of the worst uh, uh, stage. I absolutely think they need resources. They needed resources and time, because a lot of their choice making is baffling. Um, you, so explain to me why we are in 2026 and you can't select to upgrade an item at scale multiple times at the same time. Why must I do it one button prompt at it? Uh, like it seems minuscule, but it's significant when you find out that there is a trophy set for it where you need to upgrade your stuff completely. And another one, you warned me, but the thing is, I enjoyed the story and I love the gameplay. Like the gameplay itself
So
is
all this
fun.
shit you talking is minor
No,
then
but
because you enjoy that you
the
All I know
clearly
is
enjoy
I
the
took
game.
one look at
it's
that game and said,
but
"Nah, I'm
it
good."
the jack
Exactly.
the it's the jacket surrounding the gameplay. That's what the problem is. Like
You just
before
sound like you
I
have nitpicks about their choices they made on certain quality of life features that you'd like to see adjusted, which to me doesn't mean like the game is going to drastically change. You want the
oh no
few
no
things
no
you
it
mentioned
would
changed.
absolutely change. It would absolutely change the game significantly for me, at least for my playstyle.
My point is there's simple design choices that you don't like though. The same way people didn't like the whole limited travel system in Dragon's Dogma 2 that they were so hell bent on at first. It's a change in design for a specific item or use case or an ability that you have an issue with. I'm saying the game itself you seem to still like regardless.
I haven't played Dragon Dogma 2, so I don't know what design choices they made.
I explained the design
Um,
choice to you. My point is that you are mentioning design choice differences that you disagree with, which is fine. But I'm just explaining that's all they really are at the end of the day. If you enjoyed the majority of the rest of the game, then it's not whether or not those would help you enjoy the game more, but those are just simply design choice disagreements that you have with the way they chose to design those elements.
no, but the thing is, if you change what I'm talking about, it would absolutely be a better game.
I'm not
Like
saying it wouldn't be.
make bosses more aggressive, give them different move sets. This would
Again,
take
this is your issue with which we explain to you all the time, which is why this topic is coming up later, which is why I'm not going to go into it. Where you complain about difficulty all the time, but go ahead.
okay. So outside of that, um, I went and bit, and the last thing that I'm gonna complain about with this game is, so I don't know how to explain this one because I mean I'm not a developer. They have three different type of cutscenes. There is a typical cutscene normally
Yeah, you're
that
talking
you
about like
can
cinematic versus in game versus the really low budget ones. Yeah, I mean a lot of especially Japanese developers do that a lot. Yeah.
this is the first time where I play a game where the cutscene is not skippable. There is type of cutscene that's skippable. There is some type of cutscene in game that is not skippable, and there is a cutscene where you talk to NPC that should be skippable is not skippable. And I'm like, why don't you get ahead with the time? Like we are in 2026. I have played indie games that
Yeah, Omar
have
don't want to
better.
listen. He don't want to read. He don't want to know the story. Let him skip it.
What do you mean?
Why do you want
No,
to skip cutscenes?
because I beat the game and I just want to because they put
Okay, you're talking
a,
about afterwards. You made it seem like it
no
was
no
during the
even
game.
before when you go and you die or something like that. Sometimes you can't even skip cutscenes. I'm like, but I already seen this one. Why can't I skip it? At every game that I played, you were able to skip
Every
cutscenes.
that's some bullshit. That is some straight up don't say every game, because that is some straight up
I
bullshit.
said that I have played. I
That's
didn't say
bullshit.
every game.
Yeah, that's definitely BS.
That's bullshit. Because we have played several games where I know factually you cannot always skip cutscenes that you've seen. So don't say every. This is where I gotta get on you, because this is where we get on your phrasing when you're talking. You tend to uh embellish, or
Okay,
use
I'm gonna
hyperbole.
remove every
Say
game to
hey,
most games.
yeah,
Better?
exactly. Say most games, exactly. There you go.
Okay. Um. Outside of that, again, get bit of reincarnation when you can in Deep Cells, mostly because the gameplay is phenomenal. It have one of the best, if not the best, reversal in video game, in my opinion. The way you're able to not double jump but rise jump, if that makes any sense, and you drop onto your enemies some of the best gameplay moment I've experienced taking an enemy out. I love that part. Now, what my next? I'm trying to buy Mafia. Probably gonna buy it tomorrow. I tried to buy it for 15 euros, so I can go get it, but I found someone else who wants 22 euro for it, so I'm gonna get it. Also, I literally just got um
The
the
wonderful
wonderful
101.
Wonder,
Yes.
yeah, remastered, and fuck PlayStation. Like really, I no, not fuck PlayStation only. Fuck the industry that's moving away from physical. I got this game for 13 euro. He wanted 12 euro for it, 12 and a half, and then a half for shipping. And I got 20, 13 euro for it. Paid 13 euro. And the crazy part is not even 2 weeks ago it was discounted on PlayStation Store for 20 euro, and I had the ability to buy it physical for 20 euro as well. But look what happened. I literally got it for 13 euro, which is again crazy. I can't emphasize enough on how crazy it is. So yeah, frustrating as heck. But yeah, that's about it for me.
Oh yeah, you before you are done,
Mhm.
you wanted to state why
Oh
you
yeah.
are absolutely distraught over this D23 reveal for Kingdom Hearts.
Uh, so no, talking about gameplay was
Not the
phenomenal.
gameplay.
My issue is the series. The story, dude. They want to make the story canon. Like this is coming from franchise where you absolutely need to play the mobile game that I'm pretty sure it's now disconnected just to understand the full story because they have story canon in the mobile game. I'm not kidding. Look it up. So this is frustrating for the people that want to get into Kingdom Hearts or the people that are already into Kingdom Hearts to try and understand what the story is about. Outside of that, yeah, no, the gameplay reveal for Coco, that's a movie I need to watch. I'm gonna actually watch it after the show, after the podcast. It was phenomenal.
Okay.
But yeah, that's about it.
So exactly what Morgan said.
I called it, bro. I know his man so well.
What?
I called it. As soon as you said, "Oh man, I got problems with that," I said, "Oh god, I already know what Omar's issue is with this shit."
So to explain clearly, because Omar explained that terribly. So at D23 they revealed the gameplay for Kingdom Hearts, right? But they also revealed they're going to do a separate anime which is on Disney Plus. And Omar was like, "Oh my god, like I got problems with that." And Morgan was like, I was like, "What is his issue with the anime?" And Morgan was like, "Because a lot like other stuff where it's going to be on Netflix or Disney Plus or something, he feels like it's limiting and annoying to be outside of the game." and basically away from the game itself, and something else you have to engage with in order to get the full story. And obviously it's paywalled, essentially, because it's going to be on Disney Plus exclusively. And Morgan literally called
No, it's
his
not a pay.
exact
No, it's
issue.
not a paywall. It's not a paywall itself.
I'm
I
explaining. I'm
didn't even.
explaining the entire thing.
Okay, okay.
Regardless, if you didn't have all the sites and all that other stuff, it would be paywalled 100%. So that would be another issue. So, yeah, but yeah, no, I was just re-explaining because you explained that terribly. But yeah, um, but yeah, as for me, in the games that I've been playing, yeah, as Morgan said, we all been playing Ghost Recon, Wildlands. We got into that a little bit. Um, I really enjoyed it. I'm a big fan of Ghost Recon Wildlands when it originally came out. So I love the 4K 60 update. Um, I've been trying to get some stuff ready so that when we do all get back on it, I can kind of help make things easier and help everybody, um, get their equipment and stuff like that. If you've ever played Ghost Recon Wildlands, like you'll know, there's a ton of resources and things on the map to gather. But as your ghost levels up and you get better tech and other things, like EMP drone specifically is a massive, massive help when you're trying to get supplies and stuff, because a lot of times you're running over um, to attack vehicles that are in convoys, and when you run the EMP drone, you can push out an EMP blast, which just stops the vehicles cold, so you don't got to deal with chasing them down the street. And then you could just kind of casually take everybody out. But yeah, really, really great update. The only thing I wish that they did differently is, because it's causing a lot of confusion, is I wish they would have labeled this a native PS5 update, and not just a PS4 upgrade, because that's causing a lot of confusion in the store, and kind of how things are linked together. So everything would have just linked cleanly to like a PS5 Definitive Edition version, and that would have like caused a lot of confusion to be subsided. But regardless, we all got into it. We all picked it up. It's been really enjoyable so far. Um, I also finished Persona 3 Reload, the PS5 version. I am one away from the platinum. Uh, the 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 trophy that I need though is like one of those really annoying ones where either you have to go so far back in the story that it's annoying, or you basically need to start over or run like New Game Plus to do it, I guess, like really well, right? Um, so my solution for that is ultimately I'm just gonna play through the PS4 version, and thankfully Atlas has a incredible system, um, with Persona 3 Reload in particular, where you can network switch between the PS4 and PS5 versions back and forth via a network save built in. So even if you didn't have like cloud saves and stuff, like they have their own network cloud save built into Persona 3. So once I get back to the point where I'm about to get that trophy, I can simply save it in the network drive, load the PS5 version, basically perform the action, that trophy will pop, and I'll get the platinum. And then basically I'll just finish up the PS4 version as well and end up beating it twice, which is cool because I'm a huge Persona fan. And like I said, that game has been incredibly enjoyable. But that's why I had stopped on it for so long when I found out that I had missed or kind of messed that up, that run, because it was a one and done platinum run, which I love. Like, I love when games, you can complete the platinum in one. I hate games where they make you replay, or they lock a harder difficulty behind, behind you having to beat the game first and then having to replay it. That always annoys me to death. Um, but yeah, those are the main things I've been playing. And then I also went back to make some more progress and some more headway on 007 First Light, which both Weeb and Morgan already got the platinum for. I do not think I'm going for the platinum. I was telling Morgan that the other night. I don't know. Certain games, like, I just don't want to do it. I don't feel like looking at the guide and, looking at where all the collectibles are and all that stuff. Like collectibles are like the bane of my existence when it comes to trophy hunting. Like I hate collectible trophies, and I just don't want to do it. Like I want to just focus on enjoying the game as is, and not really focusing on where that stuff is specifically.
Yeah,
Um,
guess you're not double on material.
yeah, it is what it is. I gotta do what I gotta do. I gotta get through it though. That's the key thing. I want to get through it. I want to finish experiencing it, because a lot of people, it is a lot of people's highest rated game of the year, which is a lot of praise. I definitely don't think it's gonna be mine, just because that's basically impossible with some of the games coming out this year. Um, like my game of the year is most likely yet to come out. Um, but yeah, like the way the previews, which the stuff we're going to get into later, the previews have been for some of the titles that we are anticipating, has basically shored up what I thought that the best is yet to come for me this year, and it's been a great year, as far as like game releases. Um, I also was finishing up Pirate Yakuza, um, which nobody really knew I was playing in the first place. But I actually almost have the platinum for that, the double platinum as
You've been playing that in
specifically
secret?
in
You've been keeping
secret.
that from me? Oh my gosh. What?
Oh,
Why would you
I
not
knew.
tell me that?
I knew. You've mentioned it before. You're playing it.
Yeah, I think you might not have been here the week when I mentioned it,
Yeah.
but yeah, I'm like 40.
Racism.
Yeah, I'm like 61.
That's the only time he's comfortable admitting it.
You know? Like, so you just been playing it while I've been talking to you? You didn't say nothing? Is that what you're telling me?
No.
Yeah, okay. It's fine. It's fine.
Now he almost has a plat. Now he dares to tell you.
That's crazy. I think that's what it is. He didn't want me to jump on and get the plat. I think that's what it was. That's why he was hiding it from me. He was like, the minute I tell her, she'll try to beat me. Okay. He was trying to have a plat of his own because I've been out platting him these past few months. So I get it. It's cool.
All right.
Did you hear him? He said double plat. So
Double plat. You see, yeah. He doing a workaround with the little PS4 version. Yeah. Monty.
Your trophy card is very sus right now.
Sus.
Hey, look, it's not my fault. Elizabeth, is a needy bitch, and she wants me to take her to 15 different places before I can get the trophy, and I didn't know that. So it's their fault for making her like that.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that, and then also obviously I'm working on finally getting up to RoboCop Rogue City Unfinished Business. I really enjoyed the original. I know Weeb did as well, because we both talked about that and gushed over how much we enjoyed the original. And Unfinished Business is completely standalone, which is pretty cool. So yeah, if you haven't played RoboCop, it's brilliant. I think Weeb also picked up the physical double.
Dude, I need to get that. Because they recently released a couple months ago, I think, or just earlier this year, they released like the Steelbook, like the complete edition.
Yeah, it comes with both.
And I was gonna pick that up, but then it was like, I don't know, I think it was like on back order or something, and I didn't end up getting it. So I need to see if they got it back up.
Yeah, the double for that was a really cool idea by them.
Yeah, y'all been talking
it wasn't that expensive.
Really high praise about it, and
it's really good.
Yeah, I want to play it. Like I have it already. I think it came with like PS Plus, but I don't want to play it that way. I want to get the physical.
Yeah. No, I mean, and you should. Like I said, it comes with both, so...
yeah.
And then I'm just showing the rest of the rotation that I pulled up, because I was having this debate with... well, not a debate, but discussion with Morgan the other night, where I was saying, like, I don't know what to play after I had finished it, so I'm just kind of going through the myriad of games that are on the slot up here within the rotation. So I pulled up a couple other games on the rotation that I still need to finish. Which is 13 Sentinels, Aegis Rim. I had gotten kind of lost in the sauce with that game. Like, the story gets confusing.
You didn't finish that?
Nah, I dropped it for a while because it got crazy. In one of the parts I was at, it was really, really confusing about how to proceed to the next part, and I was like, I don't want to follow something, and I was like doing everything I could think of in one of the scenes, and then I was like stuck. Like I was like, what the heck am I supposed to do? The moments where it makes you like like, hey, talk to everybody and exhaust all
Yeah, I know.
options. And
Yeah, it's almost like a puzzle where you need to go to a certain part of the game to
yeah,
talk
they
to
want they
certain
want you to
people.
do one exact thing, and if you don't do it, like, and you can't figure out where it is, like, you're just stuck. So that's like the
I'm
main
only
reason I
hearing
got stuck.
excuses.
I know,
No,
I know.
I don't blame you with this one because there is so much. I don't want to spoil it, but
No,
yeah,
no, no,
so
no,
much
no,
just to go.
Omar, don't let him off. Don't let him off.
No. I keep. Hey, when it's fair, it's fair. We gotta be
No,
fair with this one.
it is
Hey,
absolutely
and
not
this is
fair.
coming from me. Certain Sentinel is one of the best story. It's top three actually for me with how insane the story is. Gameplay,
Oh,
on the
you,
other
you,
hand,
you're not gonna tell me that Beast of Reincarnation is better.
no. No, I literally said, "Oh, okay, you're comparing apple to oranges, but okay. Um, but you fuck with the gameplay, don't you? And it's a tower
Yeah, I mean, I like the
defense one.
actual combat. Like, when I get to the combat, like, I'm tearing it up.
Yeah, I'm the opposite on this one. I love the story way more than the combat.
Yeah, I mean, I like the story. The problem for me was, like I said, like, once the time
It's convoluted.
there's a bunch of time skips. Like people think, like, I'm not the only one, right? Like a ton of people have actually had issues with it, right? But also, like let's not act like time skipping like this isn't crazy, because people to this day, which I find weird, have, and you'd have to see the movie to understand. And I know you haven't seen it, but I know Morgan has seen it. To this day, I have heard multiple people say they didn't understand the movie Tenet, and that's a movie with time skips in it, and people don't understand that, and, like, this is way more convoluted
Sir,
than that.
I
Time,
think they meant
time,
literally as in they couldn't understand the dialogue.
True,
time
true.
travel in video game is can be iffy if it's not done correctly. Luckily, with this game, they done it marvelously.
Yeah, I mean, they did a great job. Like, I understood what was going on and stuff like that. It's just like I said, I just got lost in the sauce about one of the sequences I was in and couldn't really
Your
find
biggest
my way out
mistake
of it.
was dropping it back then. But once you pick it up, you're gonna be so fucking lost, not knowing where you need
I
to
know, I
go, where you
my,
need
my
to be.
memory for stuff like that's pretty good. So I haven't dropped it long enough to forget. Like, so
Oh, okay.
I remember all the little bits about who is who, and who's suspected, like, an agent. But I mean, it's still a lot going on. Like, because this is one of those stories. If you guys have ever played anything in this nature, where, like, everybody suspects everybody is against them. Basically, they're like,
Yeah,
oh, so and so's a
it
double agent. Oh, so and so's here to stop
it
me. Like,
it it's literally like imagine juggling 10 balls with one hand and 10 ball with another hand and 10 ball with your feet. Like I'm not joking. Like it gets that crazy
yeah,
with
it's a lot going on. Especially, like, people are dying, but then people are alive again because you jump back to the past, and then,
left or right. Yeah,
yeah, or you're in an alternate timeline and that person also lived and they didn't die in that future. Like, it's trust me, for me to call something complex, like, it's got to be ridiculous, and Aegis definitely gets that way at times.
Man, amateurs.
now this no. I love 13 Sentinel, but it's absolutely a complex story.
Yeah, like,
Well,
they get
well,
crazy.
uh,
I have now, to the granted, right? Everybody states, like, it all makes sense when you
it
if
At
does.
the end,
if you've beaten it, because then, like, you have the whole story, and you're like,
when you
oh,
yeah, when you're at the end, it makes absolutely sense. The way it unravels, you're like, holy shit.
yeah, basically. But yeah, like I said, return to that. I also brought back up Sea of Stars. I purchased the Sunset Edition, because I apparently didn't have it. I think I played it on PS Plus. So I was,
God, I'm so mad about that game, man. I want to play the DLC so bad, but they set up the DLC so weird. Like you have to have the in-game save in order
oh,
to
the
play it.
clear
And my
save.
save, yeah, and my save ends like right before the final boss. And I don't remember, all the combat and the
mechanics and
different
stuff you
combos that
did.
I used and stuff for the end boss. So I'm like, shit, I can't, I tried to play
You
the
need to
final
beat the
boss.
final
Just
boss again in order to get to the
you
DLC.
have to have the save at the end of the game,
Yeah, she doesn't have
and
the
I don't
clear.
have a save. At my last save is before the final boss.
Damn, that's crazy.
So I can't play it. So I was like, I tried to beat the final boss again and got my ass kicked because I didn't know what the hell I was doing. I don't remember all the mechanics in this game, and I'm just like, shit, because I really wanted to play the DLC,
I
but oh
so
well.
can someone explain to this one to me as of I'm five because I'm legit frustrated with this one. Um, Game sharing is phenomenal. It's not about buying games. My biggest issue with game sharing is save files. Like I got the plot in God of Yote and God of War Ragnarok and Final Fantasy 16. And the only thing that and even see no not Sea of Stars. I did beat the game. The only thing that preventing me from playing them playing all these DLCs is save files. Like I don't have access to the game. I can buy it, no problem. But why must I suffer? Not suffer. I will say suffer because when I play game promoter games like this, I 100% them. Why must I suffer all the way through to just to play the DLC? Why is there not a case where save file is universal? Is it such a
I
difficult
mean,
thing to create?
that's just been
I
a
think it's more because you were playing on my server, so we're in
well.
two
No,
different continents.
he's asking why isn't doesn't it just work on every version of the game, basically.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
I
said
know.
why save file
He's
not
saying
universal.
because when we game shared, he could play it, but if he buys a copy for himself, the save file won't transfer to this new copy. Like it'll make him start over.
Yeah,
And I'm
I
like,
think
I
that's
don't know.
more
Maybe
so
it's
to do
because
with
of
regulation and the way certain things have to be curated for
I don't know
each
because
territory.
we game share and I bought games myself like physically that the save file transferred over no problem.
No. That's not what I
So I
mean.
don't.
I'm saying that so while video games have become region free, the save file is like a PAL or a US oriented save file. Like so
Yeah,
they
that's what I was saying. Like we're in different locations. So I just don't think it'll transfer. Like it's just since we're two different continents, I just think the save file is just kind of region locked.
yeah, so
But yeah,
the save file is also like that, but the save file is done that way because DLC is region locked, even though video games have not been for a long time. So the actual game is not region locked, but DLC is tied to the specific
okay, that makes
store.
sense.
So yeah, there's it's a bunch of
That's so
back end reasons.
stupid.
I mean, I get it, but you got to talk to regulators about that. There's a reason why. I mean,
Yeah, I think it's
even in
what was it
computers.
security or something.
Yeah, I mean, it's a bunch of different security protocols or other reasons why they don't want it. It's like the weird thing that's about to happen in Japan when GTA 6 releases and the codes expire 170 days after they're on store shelves because there's some weird law in Japan that states codes can't last more than like 170 days or something like that. Like it's weird stuff like that.
Like I'm so excited for God of Yote because it's a story expansion and I love roguelite. So and I played the fuck out of Legend when Yoshima was a thing. But the fact that now I need not only to buy a game, which is that my thing, no problem, but also need to go through the game again just so I can play the DLC. It just leaves the bad taste in my mouth, especially with the
You don't
game.
have to beat the game in order to play the DLC for Ghost of Yote. Just so you know.
Okay, that's cool. Then
Well,
His whole argument just out the window now. Oh,
yeah,
never mind.
yeah.
no,
Well,
but
there you
not
go.
every game like that, sadly.
Just like, oh, okay,
Like
never
for
mind.
example, Sea of Stars, I need to beat game again. I'm literally like you now.
Yeah,
But
I mean,
unlike you, I have
a
a
lot of
save file.
companies need to do the whole create. You can create a save file at that point where it's like you don't want to play it, So they give you like the generic
You know,
save as if you've
always
beaten the
when
game.
And I think I didn't save
when
it
you beat the
because in order to
game,
get the plat for Sea of Stars, you had to like do like a new game plus kind of thing or something. I can't remember. I can't
Yeah, you
recall.
were trying to do
And
something
in
with it.
order to do that, you had to save it. Like you had to use a save. I think I did have an in-game save, but that's the save that
can
I
you not
used to
have
start the
multiple
new
game
game
save
plus.
file?
You're not listening. Okay. I said I had an in-game save, but I had to in order to do new game plus, you have to start on an in-game. Like in order to
Yeah,
start
so you
new game
say
plus,
you essentially saved
you have to
over.
you have to use a save file
Yeah,
that's an in-game to prove that you finished the game. So it overwrites the in-game save file.
yeah.
So
Okay, so
that's
you
why
can
I
only
don't
have
have one.
one save file end game. Okay, interesting. Because beta reincarnation, for example, after I beat the game, I saved. I could continually keep saving, and it would let me know. Yeah, I beat the game. I get a star on my what you
Yeah, I
call
mean
it,
a lot
on
of
my
open
save
world
file.
games are like that, but uh, Persona 3 does the same thing. It forces you when you beat. There's nothing for you to do after you beat the game, so you save and it's a clear save, and it warns you that that clear save is like the one. And if you start a new game on it, it therefore will use that clear save. So it tells you that stuff. So that's a common practice. So I know what she means.
Yeah, it sucks because I was like, oh man, now I'm being punished because I used the new game plus. Oh well, it is what it is.
But yeah, that's another one that I like I said I went back to, and like again, shout out to that team by the way. If you haven't seen that key art for Sea of Stars, the Sunset Edition, one of the best artworks
Oh
I've
yeah,
seen in years. Like they yeah, whoever did that, man, shout out to them
that
because
artwork is not.
yeah, artwork is amazing. Um, and then the one other thing I brought back up in rotation is a an indie JRP like what's it? It's a JRPG style turn based game, but was Bloomtown a different story. So I needed to
Oh yeah,
finish that as well. That was a lot of fun. It's basically indie Persona is the running joke that
the
everybody has.
music, the music was
And then you
phenomenal
didn't
for that
finish that
game.
either.
Sir, sir, we've had this discussion. I got about 600 plus games in my backlog. It just is what it is. But yeah,
Only
You
600.
you have a habit. You have a habit to play a game and then at some point drop it, and then pick it back up
Yeah, I said that to
later
him and
on.
he didn't want to hear it, but it's cool.
anyway. So yeah, but that's what I've been playing. That's what I brought back up in the rotation. Obviously before some of the other titles come back out and the DLC that Morgan mentioned about Mafia. But yeah, a lot of up and coming stuff. But like I said, that is a topic, so we'll get to that. But we'll jump into the first topic here. So you know, a big topic that's been kind of making the waves lately, and a lot of people have been agreeing with it. Colin Moriarty basically made some comments, basically stating like, you know, essentially, you know, core gamers, you know, don't matter, right? Um, you know, he stated, Colin himself has stated it, and many gamers agreed that gaming no longer needs core gamers. Um, and that chasing the proverbial dragon of live service casual gamers can sustain the market. But I think that's a grave mistake. Forgetting who got those gamers there in the first place and continue to do so to this day, be it your friends, your coworkers, children, or other family. Almost all casuals have been ushered into the market by one of us, and many have gone on to expand their spend in the market and continue to invest because of us core gamers. And if all things are equal, you know, as basically it's being implied um, here. But if all things are equal, as they claim, and exclusives also don't move the needle because they all don't sell 15 million plus copies, then why isn't the market closer in hardware sales and distribution? So, with that being said, do you agree that gaming can be sustained by the often fickle nature of casual gamers alone? Morgan, I'm gonna go to you on this one first. Is this something where you believe that no matter what, Not specific because gaming is not always in the state where it's in, right? Where they got 100 million sold, the market's saturated, right? Do you believe the market can continue alone to be sustained by the casual gamer alone and chasing that constant live service dragon without the need for exclusives? Do you think they no longer play an important role?
No, see, I'm kind of 50-50 on what Colin has to say. And what I mean by that is I do agree that PlayStation is turning their eyes more to the casual market. That's why they're investing so heavily in live service and why they see that as a continued investment, even after the many kerfuffles that they've had with live service. They failed way more times than they've succeeded. I think they only really have one and maybe a half a success with I don't even know if it's a half of a success with marathon. And this is a diss at marathon because I enjoy marathon, but I don't think it's very lucrative for Sony.
Mm-hmm.
But that it is it is prevalent that at PlayStation is saying.
Uh-oh. I think her mic might
Yeah,
have.
I
Do
was
you hear me?
about to
Okay,
say
you're back now. You're
it
back now.
cut off. Okay.
Yeah, go ahead. Sorry. Or not? You were back for a second, and then you.
Okay,
She is.
sorry. I think my mic is messing up for some reason. I think one of my wires is like loose or something. It's weird.
Oh, okay. Go ahead. You're
Um,
good now.
but yeah, it's pretty clear PlayStation's primary focus is on the casuals. The casuals make up the majority of the PlayStation player base, right? Like I don't think there's any argument with that. They are the vast majority, and they are like the spenders that PlayStation really wants to focus on because what they really want are the gamers that buy into their subscriptions and gamers that continuously purchase microtransactions because that's where they make the majority of their money is through subscriptions and services and microtransactions and things like that. But on the other hand, that's not to say that their first party output as far as their single player games aren't important. There's a reason PlayStation has, made it clear that they are still focusing on making single player games because, it's not like they could just we've seen them try to sort of spin some of their primary studios like Naughty Dog, like Santa Monica, like Insomniac, like Guerrilla Games into making multiplayer games, and that just did not work out. And I think they're realizing that that isn't a thing that they should be focusing on. That they should be like that their primary, a listing studios should be focusing on making single player games that they're known for. And even if the vast majority of gamers on PlayStation do not purchase these games. Like, let's say, like, God of War gets 8 million, Spider Man gets 10 million, I don't know, Horizon gets like 7, 6 million, whatever, right? Um, even though that's only, not even 10% of the player base, it's a sort of kind of like trickle down economics, kind of, where it actually makes sense, where you have the zeitgeist of these great games that people want to play, highly polished AAA games, and because your brand is known for that, people tend to gravitate, right? And they may not play these games, but they're no like they not may not play every single one of these games, but because your brand is associated with high quality games, people tend to flock that way. And the people who do play the games like that, like us, who do play like all of the PlayStation games, PlayStation first party games for the most part, um, we have influence, whether PlayStation or other people agree or not. You know, we have influence on a lot of the decisions that casuals make because they'll go to the YouTube like podcasts like this or watching people play, stream games like that. And
Mm-hmm.
it influences other people to go and play those games, right? Like what the uh hardcore gamer does falls into line about what every other gamer does. And I think Xbox is kind of learning that the hard way. That's kind of why they're focusing more on their core now. They're realizing that even though, the casual market is there and the majority of the casual market will be the predominant players on your box, you still need your core in order to in order to keep essentially the entire player base there, right? Because the core is kind of the heart. Like, I mean, I know it's kind of in the word, but the core is like the heart of the player base. And if they're excited, other people will be excited. Even casuals will be excited. Like all the
Exactly.
feelings that the core feels will trickle down to the casuals. So you need the cores happy in order to keep kind of the casuals in line. And, it's kind of a weird way to say it, but that's kind of true about how it is. So to say that, the I don't know what his exact phrasing was, but to say like that the single player games aren't important or that they don't entice people to the brand, that's definitely incorrect. I mean, we've seen high influx of people, like even after especially when PlayStation merges their IPs with which is what Xbox and PlayStation are doing right now, where they are trying to make their IPs reach a wider audience by
Mm-hmm.
putting their games in the face of like movies and television, right? Where you'll see PlayStation has The Last of Us show, or now they're making this God of War show, and they have the Ghost anime coming up, and Bloodborne and all that kind of things, and then even with the recent Spider-Man movie, which really didn't have anything to do with the Spider-Man game, you know, the influx and the popularity of that movie trickled down to the Spider-Man game. They saw like a increase of like a quarter to a half a million sales because of the popularity of the Spider-Man movie. People came back because Insomniac updated the game and gave everybody free suits that were in Marvel token and uh the movie as well. And so people went back and played the game because of things like that. Like, it's important that you have these big IPs that make uh your console stand out amongst the competition, because if you just turn your console into a third party box, there's really no reason as to why people should invest in you over anybody else. And again, Xbox learned, like, we're literally watching Xbox learn this. Like, this literally been Asha's whole statement, right? Where she's realizing that, Xbox needs to focus on the core, and the core needs to have something. And this is why they're bringing back exclusives. And, oh, look, check out these exclusives. We hear you. We understand that in order for us to compete as a platform, we have to incentivize and give our hardcore fans something to care about, right? Because if all she cared about was just getting the people that play Fortnite and COD and Minecraft, she could have just said, fuck it, we'll keep it third party, right? Like, who cares? Right. But at the end of the day, if you have the core, which was bleeding out of Xbox, flock away, the Xbox is going to be nothing at that point. So they had no choice. And so to say that the core on PlayStation doesn't matter because the majority are casual is incorrect. Because watch what happens if they, like, even with this whole situation with physical, right? You're gonna lose a lot. You're gonna lose a good amount of your core, not all of your core, but a good amount. And if PlayStation was to ever just like dismantle the first party, for example, and just say like they'll be, I don't know, they'll make them into completely live service studios, right? Like, they're not making single player games anymore. We'll make these into, everybody's doing multiplayer, right? I can guarantee you the core fan base would evacuate ship, and we would see how fast the PlayStation brand would dismantle with the core gone. Um, because the casuals, while they play games and they buy microtransactions, they're also very fickle, right? Their tastes change quite dramatically, and PlayStation is learning that the hard way because they keep trying to chase trends. And when it comes to live service, and because they're chasing trends, they're always behind, right? Because games
Exactly.
aren't developed in a vacuum. It takes years to make games. And so it's like, oh, look, what's hot now? Oh, look, hero shooters is hot. And so 5 years, 6 years, 7 years down the line, when they finally get the hero shooter, nobody cares about hero shooters anymore, right? Like, it's just like
Exactly.
you're behind the curve, right? And where PlayStation succeeded was when they were always ahead of the curve. They were making the curve, right? They were the curb.
Yeah, they're the
Um,
standard. They
yeah,
weren't following
and they
nobody.
started that with their narrative driven games, right? Like, obviously there were narrative driven games before them, but they kind of, with the production level and almost like movie-esque way that they made their games, was kind of something that hadn't been done. and PlayStation kind of put their stamp on that. Whether you like it or not, that was kind of a PlayStation thing. And instead of kind of turning that and leaning into that creativity with their live service games, they just decided to follow suit to whatever everybody else was doing. But I mean, that's a completely different discussion. But at the end of the day, I don't agree with the fact that the core isn't important. The core is important. They're just not as important as they used to be, right? PlayStation is focusing mainly on the casuals right now, but they know damn well not to stop any of their first parties making single player games, because they know that is what PlayStation is. That is the brand that they're recognized for. And if you just get rid of that, then what is PlayStation at that point besides a third party box, you know?
Exactly.
Um
Like without the
so
core, that without yeah, over time I agree with you. Like, there's stages to it, right? Like the stage we're in right now is the late stage of the generation, right? So you're not driving a bunch of new people to the platform outside of what you have left to release. But the core are always the ones that are getting all of these casuals to choose which platform they play on.
yeah.
Like you said, your brother largely plays on PlayStation for multiple reasons. Number one, you play on it. Number two, he's a massive Spider-Man fan. That's
Mhm.
all it takes right there. It doesn't matter that
Yeah.
he plays Marvel Rivals every day. He plays Marvel Rivals every day on a PlayStation because it offers those other things.
Yeah.
That's what people are
Yeah.
forgetting.
That's exactly, yeah, that's my point. Like, we influence what the casuals do. Like, the casuals, half of them wouldn't know their foot from their ass when it comes to consoles a lot of the time, and they usually go to their hardcore friends to ask them, what should I get? What should I invest in? What should I buy? I'm trying to get into gaming. I want to play this game, and it might not be an exclusive, right? It might be like COD or Minecraft or Fortnite or whatever, which you can play on any box. But then they might also have other interests, other games outside of that, and so you recommend based on what kind of games they like, right? So it's like, yes, the casuals are a big majority of PlayStation, but a lot of them lean onto the hardcore to determine their purchasing patterns. So if you decimate the hardcore, then the casuals will just scatter at that point. So it's kind of stupid to not focus on your core. And again, we're seeing that example in literal real time with Xbox, where they've refused to focus on the core, and now they're having to do a complete 180 and refocus on the core, because they realize once the core is gone, then Xbox is essentially gone, right? And we've seen those numbers from Xbox, where Asha's been very transparent about how like just in the garbage that Xbox is right now. um so yeah, it would be kind of stupid to refocus completely away from your core audience. I get where Colin is coming from, because obviously the PlayStation 5 generation has been the generation where PlayStation seems to be, you know, completely uh trying to look at a nice word for it, just completely out of touch with the hardcore and what gamers actually want with when it comes to the decision to do live service games, their decisions to start porting games on PC, their decision to kind of like force their first party to do things that they haven't normally done and then get them all behind schedule. Obviously their decision to completely eradicate physical gaming, and then their decision, like all of their decisions have been financially driven, right? And nothing has been about like what's best for the gamer. I mean, we obviously know these are all companies. At the end of the day, they don't, none of these companies care about us. I've never once thought PlayStation gave a shit about me, but I thought but the one thing that you can count on them giving a shit on is the IPs and the games that will produce money for them. So you would think that they would focus mainly on these games. Like, obviously, with when they only sell, 10 million is a lot, but obviously it's not as much as they make with like microtransactions with COD. But there's more factors in it. Selling 10 million copies of God of War isn't just about selling 10 million copies of God of War. It's about getting your brand out there and the name. Everybody knows your name. PlayStation is associated with this IP of God of War. It's about recognition. It's about awards, because awards do matter. Getting those game of the years and stuff, your brand associated with high quality entertainment. That's what you want, right? You want all of that, because all of that feeds into your brand being the number one quote unquote brand, right? So all these things are important when it comes to games, and that's again why Xbox is trying to you know make these type of games. They're trying to make those game of the year winners and those high end contesters to kind of build the reputation of Xbox, because for the past like 10, 15 years the reputation has just been you can get okay games here on this platform. They haven't really had any outstanding hits outside of like Forza, so they're trying their best to build that reputation, because with that reputation you get becomes comes with prestige, then with that comes customers, which is what they want. So I don't agree fully with what Colin is saying. I do agree that they've moved away from their single player focus and onto more of a live service focus, because they're trying to bleed every corner of consumers' pockets, especially at a time where component costs are through the roof and making these consoles have become even more expensive. And when you know that you're going to be selling less consoles, that means, you'll have a smaller consumer base. So in order to make up the same amount of money that you did from your larger consumer base, that means you have to, bleed that smaller, uh, yeah, the smaller amount of people that you have even more, right? So if I'm only gonna have, if I had 100 customers last year, and I charged them all, I don't know, like $2, but next year I only have 50, like I'm gonna have to charge these 50 more so that I can make up at least what I did. um I'm gonna have to charge you guys $4 because I don't have as many consumers as I did last year. So that's gonna be PlayStation's plan, right? To bleed everybody dry, which is why
Exactly.
they're focusing so hard on getting these live service games out, because those are the type of games where you can get consistent revenue out of your consumer base. um but yeah, I mean that's kind of how I feel. The first party is still very important. That's the synopsis of what I'm saying. First party single player games are still very important to PlayStation.
Nope, I agree. Um, Weeb, how are you feeling about these statements here? You feeling that the core isn't as important as they used to be, or you disagree?
Fuck Colin. Uh, I mean, why do we even listen to this guy? Because people listen to the guy because sometimes he has a savage, Xbox remark. People, hey, look, uh, a washed-up game journalist was fired from his last podcast. Um, is making a comment about something we agree with, and then he has these stupid PlayStation takes, and he has been wrong about so many things, and like, uh, yeah, I mean, and then he's asking this, and then we're all running with, yeah, of course, Colin, you're right, yeah, what is what we've been saying. Yeah, no, you're not. The thing is like there's two parts of this statement, right? And that's what you've been explaining, Morgan. It is, yes, is PlayStation thinking that they're moving more and more into the direction of, yeah, we need live service games. And as you rightfully mentioned, the whole killing physical is clearly to nickel and dime to maximize the shrinking player base they're gonna have with the PlayStation 6, because it's gonna be 1,000, maybe $1,200 console, which is gonna eliminate a lot of, and that's kind of the problem I having here is, um the casuals are do they sound like the people who are able to afford $1,000 to $1,200 console. It does.
Exactly.
Who are the people who are gonna buy that console? I think we know the answer to that.
Hardcore.
Exactly. And okay, and you're gonna alienate those people. So I'm kind of wondering. Like, I understand. We talked about this before. I understand the logic behind why they're doing it. I don't understand I don't think it's a viable long term strategy. It's like, and that's what I explained, like I think last week, where you're also shouldn't forget the fact that there are managers working there that have targets that get their bonuses. high to achieving those targets, and they might not be around for say the next generation, where the accounting will take place, where they'll learn, oh yeah, everything we've done so far that to maximize this profit has resulted in people abandoning our platform. But that's something for the next CEO to solve. I already have my bonus because I already met that target in that first year, the first 2 years that we agreed upon, right? So I'm gonna get my stock options, and I can sell them. It doesn't matter if the stock price now drop because I screwed up. I mean, I'm done. Like I've got my bonus. Got my money. I'm good. And that's kind of the thing that, I mean, yes, it's a business. That's what you get with corporations. Um, but it does also show you how fragile it is, because we all assumed the PlayStation was unstoppable, and I'm having more and more doubts about that. I mean, of course they are
Hmm.
unstoppable because PlayStation 3 generation happened. We've seen that they can. I mean, they can, even though they had like the incredible first and second PlayStation 1, PlayStation 2 generation, and then they screwed up with the 3, and we assumed that they couldn't do that anymore, and we assumed that they're, I mean, from an arrogance perspective, they clearly are doing this with going ahead with the PlayStation 6, but we are assuming that even though they're doing that uh, they can get away with it. um, they can get away with, they're gonna kill physical, like that's not, they're not gonna reverse that, we know that, that's not gonna happen. um, but I'm not so sure they're gonna get away with as a long-term consequence of that, because again, like, yeah, who are the people who are buying
Hmm.
consoles day and date? Those are the hardcore gamers. You're alienating a large portion, because even if you want to try so hard, and again, I'm very s- I'm very sus. It's very sus that you're trying so hard to make it look like physical is such an insignificant part of your business, that you have to fudge the numbers, that you sort of have to deliberately misrepresent them, and that you're so uh, um, uh, sure about that that you only announce it after you have to report your quarterly earnings, and at the moment that you've already announced the biggest game of this generation, it's gonna drop, where whatever, and it's gonna be all digital, so whatever you know short-term consequences there are of your decisions, you're not going to notice them. They're going to be drowned out by all the noise that GTA 6 is going to bring. And they knew what they were doing. Yeah, sure, it's smart to do that. If you're going to do it this way. But again, it's still chasing assuming that the casuals are going to be the thing that's going to save you, because it's kind of the problem. Like, the casuals again don't care about the exclusives, so uh, which is exactly the thing that's selling your console. Again, it's that this is the interesting paradox, where we're trying to argue exclusives don't matter, they don't sell consoles, yet we see clear example with Xbox that they are important, that you do need those games, you do need to have those quality games, because even if people don't, like you said, don't buy them in droves, they're still sort of the face of your console. They still give your console
Hmm.
allure. They're like, oh yeah, that's a console of God of War. I'm not gonna play God of War. We're just gonna play FIFA on it, or F1, or whatever, Fortnite. But yeah, I do have the option. I do have the console with the cool game that I'm not gonna play. I don't want to be associated with another console that just has sixes and six and a halves or whatever, has beaten games, milk their franchise to death, and putting their games everywhere. Where, like, okay, yeah, well, eh, okay, if I can choose, buy a PlayStation, because then I can play great PlayStation exclusives, and Xbox is bringing their exclusives anyway. So what does it matter, And that's the thing that they're yeah, it's sort of it's almost schizophrenic in the way you're thinking. Okay, the hardcore gamers are the ones who are buying our exclusives. That's the reason our console is as big as it is right now. We're making the most money of those on third-party games and those casuals, but we're assuming that if we're gonna ignore the core gamers, the hardcore gamers, we're gonna be fine. And yeah, I'm very skeptical about this because I think their brand is very strong, but goodwill can be lost a lot quicker than it can be built up. And I mean, it's very dangerous to do that going into the next generation. I understand they're announcing, like, especially the physical games part, uh, you know, probably now a year ahead or a bit more for the PS6 to drop. I mean, it seems almost certain it's going to drop in 2028. It is smart in that way to do that because if you're doing that right, if you're just going to announce a PS6, oh yeah, and guess what? You can't play physical games on it because we are going to kill them. Yeah, that's not going to go over well. Now you're like, oh yeah, just announce it now, and they have time to get used to it, and they will forget about when the console launches. They're already used to it. But yeah, I don't know if it's gonna go the way they think it's gonna go because again, you have this is sort of like the decision to maximize your profits and cut costs, I guess, because you don't have to print the disc and you get more bigger piece of the pie. But in turn, you're basically you're giving and you giving back exclusives. I guess that's as we now know the main reason why they pulled away from PC is that okay, sure, okay, you have a console with exclusives now. It's gonna cost you an arm and a leg. It's not gonna get any cheaper probably, and your and all your games are now a license are now digital. They're gonna be full price. You don't have the option to buy a second hand anymore, which I also think they seriously underestimate the impact of that market because the problem with saying, "Oh yeah, they don't make money off it," but that's not how it goes, right? Like these are the same stores where people trade in their consoles to get a new one, where they trade in the games and buy new games with their trade-in, value. Uh, and for every game that has to be resold or is resold, somebody has to buy it first, and there are a lot of people who probably buy their games new with intention of being able to trade it in. So again, there are so many aspects of this, so many pieces where I'm like, you're really uh, oversimplifying things and misunderstanding, the impact that the core gamers have, particular the physical collectors because they like how many of those have YouTube channels and are showing off their collection and talking about your games. I mean, you're going to lose those people, a lot of those people, and the question is like, is that going to hurt you enough? I mean, in the short term, probably not, but in long term, like especially with new console generation coming up, think it will, and you need these like Anay said, you need these core games. They're the people who introduce other people to gaming, and again, like the cat, like I also I don't really. I mean, of course, they probably did their math, but I'm not really sure about the logic behind it because the casual gamers buy 1-2 games a year apparently, new games a year, and yeah, they buy microtransactions, but they're probably not, the average casual gamer is probably not the whales that you're going after. And I mean, yeah, what are the whales? Like, yeah, like I said, I've bought 88, 89 games now, physically only, or and also digital, of course. So I'm one of your whales. I'm one of your big spenders. Except I now have a 5090 gaming PC. So when the PlayStation 6 hits and it's all digital, like, oh, I have the option to not buy it on your platform. And I certainly, if a game is going to come out, if it's a third party game, it's going to come out day and date on both platforms, and there's nothing wrong with it, like it's a bad port or hampered by DRM or whatever. Uh, I'm gonna play it on PC because why not? Like it's gonna have the best performance, and it's gonna be cheaper, and it's more reliable. I mean, I trust Valve more than I do PlayStation, Sony with their online infrastructure. It's the very reason why I buy physical. Um, so yeah, again, like I mean, we've seen, with the live service push what that has resulted in. How like we're kind of paying for that as well. Like we're paying for their mistakes. That they lost so much money for it. That's why we are paying for. We're not getting some games like Naughty Dog. Hopefully, has one game coming out this generation, but also clearly they need to cut costs, which results again in you know we're not getting certain games because they're going to close studios to cut costs, and they're trying to nickel and dime us any way they can, um, and they're seriously overestimating. I think yeah, again, if they're all physical store, even if they have exclusives, I think being a platform that has exclusive and has options, for people to buy your games in different ways, in technically different storefronts, because you can go to mom and pop shop and get your game cheaper there, or Target or whatever, GameStop, to buy your games. Without having to go directly to the PlayStation Store, yeah, that does offer value, and yeah, you're in your short term, in pursuit of short term games. I think, oh yeah, we're gonna get all the money now. Like, yeah, but that pile is gonna be a lot less, yeah, impressive. Plus, it's an interesting thing that sort of relates to that is that all the lawsuits and all the regulators and governments that are now interested in PlayStation and seeing if they can pass legislation that's gonna prevent it, or at least limit them in some way. And yes, I think the European Union said we cannot technically block Sony from killing physical. But what you could get is that you're going to get a situation where what happened with Apple. What you could get is that some maybe it's going to be Epic, maybe it's going to be Valve. I don't know. That somebody's going to just sue, start a lawsuit against Sony. Say, yeah, we want you to allow us to sell our games or our DLC or microtransactions via our own storefront. I mean, I would not be surprised if Epic says at some point, yeah, hey, we're making a lot of money. I mean, you admitted it. You're making a lot of money for you. Okay, well, we want more. We want you to allow us to sell stuff via our own storefront in your ecosystem. And if you're not going to allow it, we're going to sue you. And look what happened to Apple. And that's going to be very interesting, because if that's going to happen, yeah, cool. You now make all the money on your first party, and almost all the money in the third party games. Uh, but you also have to allow competitors on your ecosystem, because otherwise you're a monopoly, which you technically are, but you sort of give the perception of having options, because there are multiple avenues to get your games, and especially physical, as I mentioned before, they have the advantage of they take up physical space. So especially retailers have to do clearance sales to get rid of their stock, because it's taking up space, and they want to put other stuff in there. That's going to disappear with digital, and that's gonna allow PlayStation to have a monopoly on their own games, but that's gonna also result in possibly makes it more. The announcement is of course a trigger, but yeah, there's probably gonna be some politicians also who are gonna be interested to score everything. Yeah, we're gonna investigate and gonna force you to open up your ecosystem to competitors. Uh, maybe maybe Microsoft, even in the absence of Phil, is going to get there what they want and put Game Pass on PlayStation, because the European Union is going to force them to do so. Like, it's going to be very interesting to see what's going to happen, and then then you're kind of you duck your own grave there, because you're basically you know woke up, the watchdogs, and put a spotlight on yourself, And that sense, maybe the whole stink that they're getting constantly from the angry physical gamers has borne fruit. Is that, yeah, you're gonna basically, yeah, have higher margins on a smaller pile of money, which already was of a smaller because you're expecting less people to buy it, but it's also gonna shrink even more because you're gonna have to share. Um, and yeah, I mean, I don't know. Kind of wonder if in the end if that was worth all of that. Chasing the dragon, ch- trying to maximize the monetization on your existing customers, which again is it's so disrespectful in a way. They're saying like you're saying that, and we can read that, we hear you, and we're just gonna have to sit there and say, okay, cool, yeah, fine, make me pay more money for less stuff. I'm okay with that. Like, as if we again don't have options, and I think that's the thing that's yeah, probably going to bite them in the ass. I mean, and I don't want to see PlayStation fail, but maybe they can be put down knock down a peg because they're,
Hmm.
yeah, I mean, it is maybe healthy for them to sort of get back that sort of humility they had to start the PS4 generation, whereas like, yeah, we just need to uh, uh, produce great games, and give maximum value to our consumers or customers. Consumers again also is a word marketing has basically created to make it look like we're basically addicts. Um, so yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, I guess that's all I have to say for now.
Cool. No, I agree. You made a lot of really good points as well. And yeah, I mean, like I said, this is a bigger, more complex issue, and
Yeah.
it's the problem for a lot of people, Colin included, right? Is again, his problem is everybody's looking at PlayStation right now while they're the de facto leader in place
Mm.
because, well, no one's going to catch them right now, right? But PS6 and whatever Xbox does, and whoever switches to PC in the interim, between that switch and whatnot, you have to re-earn, like that's part of the console business, right? You have
Hmm.
to re-earn those people and those consumers' businesses every single generation.
I mean, we made a really good point with the whole, who's going to be buying PS6 at launch. It's the core, like who's spending, especially nowadays, where the console will probably be like you said, 1,000 or more, right? Who's going to be the one forking over that much money? Because it's not the casual, it's not the dude playing Fortnite or Call of Duty or whatever. He can still play that on his PS5, no problem. He doesn't need to upgrade, right? It's
Mm-hmm.
the people who upgrade day one are your hardcore, and the hardcore is the one that kind of lights the match and then gets everybody else to kind of move over. Like they'll see like, oh, the first year, oh, it's like 10, 20, 30 million. Oh, like, oh, they're selling out. I need to, then that's when the casual's like, oh, I need to get one. My friends got one. This guy's got one. I went over there. I saw what it looks like, the difference between the PS5 and 6. Okay, that looks cool. They like the hardcore kind of, put a fire under the casual's ass to kind of come over and jump the ship, right? And then, when because the hardcore and the numbers are coming up, then more games are starting to be catered towards like the PS6 and things like that, and that's what kind of pushes people to come over to the next generation. So it's like if you don't have that and you have everybody just stuck on PS5 and nobody, and obviously I don't mean like nobody, but I mean like the numbers that you used to have are not converting over to the next generation, then that's when you have a problem, right? And I think that PlayStation's kind of accounting for that, obviously, because of how expensive these consoles are going to be. But you're going to make it worse if you're the people who maybe would spend 1,000 plus for a PS6 because they are hardcore, because they like PlayStation, they like PlayStation's first party, and they've always been a PlayStation fan. You piss them off, then you know, then what? So it's like, yeah, we made a really good point with that, but yeah.
No, I agree. Omar, what are your thoughts on this about the core not being important for the future of the brand? You agree with that?
I'm going back and forth with this one. Like I agree with everyone that's talking, but at the same time, I kind of agree with Colin, mostly because of uh, his focus is strictly on here and now, and not what you guys talking about is the future. As of right now, they don't need it during the PS6 era. They do need it. So basically, it's like this: when you're already established, no, not already established, when you already sold your stuff, you don't need your core base because you already got them. But if you're starting fresh, you need your core base. I think this is why they trying to play both ways, PlayStation. They know they can't lose their core audience, which is why um, because they saw what happened to Xbox. But at the same time, they want to rely less on core audience, which is why they want with the whole live service game, because they're trying to chase the dragon. And let's give it a buck. Till today, I don't think PlayStation have any successful live service game on PlayStation alone. They need PC. Helldivers 2 was semi carried by PC. PlayStation came for a bit, but afterward, who kept it afloat? PC. So yeah, no, this is need to be answered next gen. When we see next gen, is next gen gonna be as successful for PlayStation as it was? And um, I'm not trying to mix two topics, but the way the industry is heading right now, it truly seems to be like next gen is gonna be a rough one. Um, so yeah, no, it's gonna be an next-gen topic to see from where what PlayStation to where they are right now type of video. Because anything can happen, right? Like they can make millions with this one live service game, and I don't know if it's just me, but I have seen PlayStation rely less on exclusive deals instead more on creating their own exclusive and uh, quote unquote gatekeeping the exclusives. So they do realize the importance of exclusive. So they need the core fan base for that. But at the same time, they don't want their core fan base, which is why we're seeing what we're seeing right now. So yeah, I'm interested to see what next gen is gonna bring. Because next gen is gonna answer that. And PlayStation is not untouchable. Um, so the only way that you can touch PlayStation is for Xbox to either get bigger or Nintendo to join next gen. When I say join next gen, I mean like create a console that can rival PlayStation. Because the Switch 2 is not it. I just saw a trailer. Correct me if I'm wrong. Is Persona 6 coming to PlayStation to Switch 2?
It hasn't been announced for any platforms yet because it's just like
Oh
a
no, they did.
title card.
The video that they showed was for PlayStation and Xbox and Steam, but not Switch.
It'll probably come to Switch later.
Yeah, I mean they're most likely
Um,
just not committing to that right now. Still very early.
yeah, but
Yeah, I
but
mean
that but that
Persona's a big Nintendo thing, so it'll
but
it'll
that that
it'll come to Switch.
that yeah, that's what I mean. PlayStation can get away with stuff like that for now, but if Switch gets bigger or Xbox grows a few brain cells, PlayStation is gonna be in deep trouble. Like, we need to remember where PlayStation was during the PlayStation 3 era. I forgot if it was Andrew House or somebody else, but they want to they went to a specific person and said like, we're on the verge of closing. We need a big change. And that's how we got Uncharted, Last of Us, God of War games. So, and now that they are this big, their game sells. Let's give it a buck. They do sell. And they sell significantly compared to multi-platform for the most part. Not every single game, but the big honchos, they do. People try to diminish them like they do. Um, and people hate that. They want equality, which we might actually get now with PlayStation the way they are moving, which is gonna be the next topic, I think. So we're gonna come back to this topic later down the road and see what's up.
Cool. Uh, yeah, like everybody made, like I said, really good points. The chat made a lot of good, really good points as well. Yeah, I mean, I think it's safe to say that obviously we understand it's definitely really important. PlayStation prior definitely knew it was really important, and I think just like we stated right now, uh, this is just a very short-sighted take. Um, in people feeling the current way the market is. But yeah, I mean the biggest problem with relying on casuals or a fan base you don't have, like we've seen with many games, is you are not promised that fan base, and even if you get them for the moment, it doesn't mean you're gonna have them forever. Gears of War, great example, happens to be on the screen at the moment. Uh, it had its time. It went through a big, time where it was one of the premier things, during the Xbox 360 generation, right? E-Day looks really good, but chances are it is not going to garner anywhere near the success of the old franchises back on Gears of War 2 or 3. Like that ship has just sailed, and
The
now you're running into a problem where the old players want it to continue to play like the old game, and so they're having trouble making innovations to older titles like that and them accepting the changes. Whereas something like God of War, the primary example, 2018, they just threw all that out the window and said we don't care, and we got an amazing game with God of War 2018, which has now started a whole new line, a whole new lifeline for the franchise that I was personally, admittedly, tired of. I didn't want to see Sony Santa Monica make another God of War. I was so tired of that game and that franchise. But when they switched it up entirely, it breathed new life into it, and it's like Xbox is just never gonna get
very
there with
tired
their
because
titles.
of
I was tired of the gameplay, the way the game's played,
oh, so
the
not
the whole thing.
attention. Okay.
No, I'm talking about the mainline games, God of War 1 to 3. That's what I'm talking about. I didn't want to see no more. I didn't want no more God of War. I was tired of that gameplay. I was tired of that world. They needed to work on a new IP. And then when they showed 2018 and I played 2018, I was like, yeah, this is it. This is a brand new game. This is a completely new look at Kratos. This is a completely new look at the world, the way you traverse it, the way the gameplay. It was just entirely different. And it's like, again, I think people underestimate how hard it is to do that. Um, then, like I said, I think that's a really tough thing to do. That's underestimated, because God of War 2018 made it seem like it was just so easy, and it's not, clearly, because a lot of franchises are struggling. And another good example of a one that has kind of kept people around, because this was a discussion in another show, like how have some titles managed to keep their fan base and garner new players in current day, like Resident Evil, while games like Gears and Halo and stuff have basically fallen off entirely. And like I said, the big problem is this that dated old gameplay that the older gamers just can't let go, and they're like, oh, this doesn't feel like Halo. Like, look at the recent remake. They were complaining about sprinting, even though there's an option literally to just turn it off if you don't even want to use it. You don't even have to press the button. Like, but again,
So
quality of
are
life
they
changes is something that these people are just adverse to. You said what?
are they stuck in last gen or 2 gen ago? Then
I
is
mean,
it
they're
nostalgia
just they're
side of
stuck.
things?
They're stuck trying to play their childhood, or when they were 12 or 15 or however old they were when these games came out. And it's like, look,
Because
and
Resident
the
Evil
other
6
issue,
changed that, right?
they changed
Like,
entirely. They don't play.
yeah,
They don't
like
play like the old games where you slowly walk around the
precisely.
corner and the camera system changes and the camera just pans
I'm
around. Like, no, it's completely different.
I'm pretty sure. I, I'm not a developer, but okay. My assumption is the reason why Resident Evil used to be the way it is. I think because console limitation. I think. Uh, I I'm not sure, but the way that characters move now compared to back then, night and day. So clunky if you pick up the old Resident Evil. At the very least, the first one. It's so slow and sluggish compared to if you pick up Resident Evil 3 Remake, for example, or 4.
Yeah, I mean, it's like I
So,
said, like it was cool back then, but if you were to bring it back today, like there are modern things that have to change that these people just don't want changed in these games. And I'm like, all right, look, so the only other thing that's going to happen is you're going to have to let it go because that game is not, there are not enough of you that still want to play that game that are going to sustain that game. Like even people I know that are heavily looking forward to Gears that are even enjoying the current beta, they have accepted that for about a month or two, Gears will be okay, and then it'll start to fall off. You got with all the other games people are playing, Call of Duty coming out right after that, and a number of other titles, of course, including GTA. Like people are just gonna move on, or move back to their game that they're already, is their daily driver. They're
invested
already
in.
live service. Yeah, exactly. So it's like these games just don't have it anymore. And if you're just gonna keep recreating versions of the same old game, like then of course you're not gonna garner new fans. You never will. Like, and graphics alone are not enough. We talked about that. If that was all it was about, plenty of games would be way more successful if it was just about graphics. We know it's not.
Hellblade 2.
Yeah, exactly. So it's just not about that. So people keep trying to oversimplify it and stuff, but the reality is, like I said, those titles are stuck largely because of the fan bases uh, that are in place. And honestly, a big frustration that I've seen from people, and I've had this discussion with people, is like there is a big misconception about the way certain games age. Um, where like they want to preserve, like I said, this old Halo or all these other things the same way that people still love, old school turn-based combat in JRPGs. And it's like that's not the same thing. Like some games age well and can still be played today, and they still serve their purpose very well. And there's some games, there are much better versions of that game or that type of game today. So it just really depends. And it's like I just don't understand why some people don't get that. It's like wine ages, over time and gets better, right? But if you leave a soda and, just sitting out, it's going to go flat and it's going to be terrible in about, maybe a couple of hours, right? Like soda is not wine, and people need to stop acting like it is. If your game is soda, you need to realize that like you're not going to age like that, and you need to make sure it's fresh and it's new. But yeah, it's a mess, but yeah, they live and they learn, I guess. Um, but yeah, moving on to our next topic here, something that is constantly coming up in the gaming discussions. You kind of brought it up earlier when you were um, kind of complaining about basically them not making the bosses more aggressive and things of that nature. But difficulty in gaming, like I said, it's often a hot topic, but no one ever really answers what's the perfect difficulty for you. Is it a few choices, easy, normal, and hard, or do you prefer customizable settings or games that have no settings for it at all? And specifically, do you find games difficulty being tied to your enjoyment of a game? Uh, Use an example here. I said people often say, I found the game too easy, therefore it was not fun. Personally, not my problem. I haven't really had that issue. I don't really play anything where I've really felt like I was like, oh, that was too easy. Like, I've been like, oh, that was easy, but like, there's no too easy for me. Like, I don't, like, difficulty is not a factor of the enjoyment. Like,
So
I think right
I
now,
gotta.
hold on. I think right now, like when I think about some of the games I've enjoyed, difficulty literally does not exist in some of these titles. Like recently, the like Morgan and stuff, we were playing Coffee Talk Tokyo, right? Coffee Talk is not a difficult game. The appreciation for that game is its story and the things that you go through and the characters you interact with and things of that nature. The difficulty is irrelevant. Like you got to make the drinks and stuff and get that right for your customers, but there's no real difficulty in a sense of like fighting for your life or some adrenaline pumping thing. There are various ways to enjoy titles, so I often find it weird when people are just like, oh, it's too easy. And also number two, the other thing where people state that it's too easy in general and not necessarily for themselves. I can understand when something is too easy for yourself because your skill level is at a certain level. But game designers, people have to remember, game designers have to design their game to be played by a wide array of people around the world, millions, in fact, if you're lucky and your game sells that way. Which again is why most games rely on the system of easy, normal, and hard, or things of that nature, because like there's no guaranteed way to know what's going to feel exactly right for them. Now obviously some people try to push themselves and you elevate yourself and maybe you try to like, hey, I want to play the default difficulty. We understand that's typically the place, the normal or whatever they decide to title it, is the designed experience that is the default experience, so to speak, that a lot of game designers usually go for. And I'm partial to that myself. I usually like to go with that, but I have no problem dropping the difficulty in a game. I ain't got time to be sitting there beating my head against a wall, fighting a boss 157 times and being like, yeah, now I feel triumphant because I beat him on 158. No, I'm not sitting there doing that. I don't have that kind of time to waste. Some people do. Some people only play one or two games, so I get it. Like, and that's their jam. They will sit there and beat their head against a wall all day trying to beat a boss. And there's other things that come into play with that difficulty. I'm not a fan of artificial difficulty where there's just a bunch of HP and health padding, or bosses cheat and just one shot you, or even in racing games, right? Rubber banding drives me crazy. That is the most cheating bullshit ever. I hate that. Like, yes, you can make them drive well on the hardest difficulty, but don't give them artificial speed. Like, they shouldn't be able to go faster than the car is supposed to go. So, like I said, this is a discussion that obviously spans a bunch of different games depending on what you play. Um, but examples of difficulty throughout these games, shows where it can be frustrating or annoying, when basically it doesn't scale well, right? Like I've seen plenty of people who say they like hard games only to complain about certain titles, being too hard or having too much HP or all these other things, right? Um, so I just don't, I find it weird when people automatically state, like the game needs to be difficult, specifically for them to enjoy it. I get, some people want a quote unquote challenge, but again, that is going to differ from every gamer, like to know what that really feels like. And you may not be challenged. Some people are impatient. You may not be challenged in the beginning, and that challenge may not come until a couple hours in or something because the game is ramping up and things of that nature. So that's another thing, the patience of people today when it comes to the type of game that you're playing and how the difficulty scales, and things of that nature, like something like a Dead Space, which I have completed on the hardest difficulty, Dead Space 1 and 2. If you get breathed on the wrong way, you're dead. Like it has there's no ramp up. Like the very first thing can kill you in 2 hits if you're playing on the hardest difficulty, but you're also kind of not really meant to play that the first time, and you're supposed to understand the mechanics, where everything is, and the things of that nature. And I kind of, I get that. That's fair, right? Like the the enemies are not really unkillable. They don't become like super sturdy or other things. Like you can still blow their limbs off and do everything you need to. You just got to be surgical, with your shots, making sure you're not wasting ammo, things of that nature. But yeah, it just kind of depends. But yeah, I just kind of gave an example of a couple different games where difficulty scales, because it's not just one thing, right? I know Souls often gets brought up in these conversations because they're the whole, we don't have a difficulty. You're just gonna get good at whatever we tell you to get good at. Um, but like I said, there are multiple examples of difficulty in different games, and like I said, some where difficulty is literally completely irrelevant in something like a Coffee Talk Tokyo, or games like that where the difficulty is not the point of the game. So ultimately, is difficulty? My real question is difficulty something in when you play a game that is necessary for you to enjoy it? Go ahead, Omar, because I know you're foaming at the mouth.
Yeah, yeah, no, I gotta ask, did uh, somebody complain about the difficulty in Coffee Talk Tokyo, or is it just an example?
It's an example of a game where difficulty doesn't matter.
But it doesn't matter because when you're playing Coffee Talk Tokyo, you're aware this is not a challenging game.
People are not aware of a lot of things and complain about it all the time.
Okay, but so for example, and this is just my experience. When um, one of the go-to for me was Expedition 33, right? Like phenomenal game, like this one talked about. When I fought the final boss, I didn't see a single move from him. I felt so cheated because to me, what made so then my question is, you so with 33, you didn't enjoy boss fight?
I enjoyed the whole game, but why are you worrying about that? Like, this is your experience. Does the
No,
difficulty
I'm,
bother
I'm, I'm
you?
asking you if you did or did not
Oh, wait,
enjoy
why
boss
didn't you
fight.
see a single fight from the boss, the final boss? What are you talking about?
Okay, so I'm trying because I'm trying to understand
I'm trying to
his.
understand you. You said you didn't
Okay,
see a
so my thought.
single.
So my thought is this: wake up to me when I'm playing a game. I want the game to challenge me, but I wanted to challenge me fair. I'm with innate. One hit moves. I hate them. At least they're well telegraphed and uh, you can pull them off, you can avoid them. Like think what you call it, Stellar Blade when they introduced that one hit move. I hate that shit. Um, boss fight also um, maybe I think differently, but boss fight are supposed to challenge you, even if playing on easy. Like, yeah, you gonna have more HP and they're gonna do less damage, but you're growing, you're leveling up, your character is growing, you're gaining new skills. You're supposed to be challenged. Maybe this is just me, cause I love boss fights. I love boss fights when they are difficult, when they are fair difficult. The, when they are unfair, yeah, I'm with you.
But
Scrap
but
that.
but but you admit that what feels fair to you doesn't mean it's going to feel fair to someone else, because you guys are not at the same level. So a 5-year-old playing the game that you're playing that you feel is fair is not going to feel fair to the 5-year-old. You get that, right?
But a 5-year old is not supposed to play a game like God of War.
I mean, I don't. We're not talking about age. That's irrelevant. I'm talking about difficulty. I'm saying you
Okay,
understand.
he's just saying difficulty is different for everyone. What you perceive as difficult may not be difficult for somebody else, and what somebody else perceives as
Yeah, no,
difficult may not be
I get
difficult
it,
to you.
but we're living now in an age where you can literally put it on easy mode. You can unlock cheat code from the beginning. You can, uh, what do you call it? Fight the game, fight bosses, and take least amount of damage. You can. No, I don't know if you can negate damage. I don't quote me on that because I never used any of these. So why don't you leave normal mode and hard mode for the people that want to play the game? If they people want to play the game on easy mode, that's okay. You do you, but the game should cater to the masses. I meant to the to to the audience that they're targeting. If I'm playing a Hello Kitty game, I'm not expecting to juggle enemies and fight enemies like fighting for my life. But if I'm playing God of War game or like that tide like what's that game name uh Phantom Blade Zero. What was the very first thing that I said when I saw that boss fight? I said that boss fight is gonna give me some trouble, and I love that because it means I need to find a way around that trouble. I love seeing the moveset. I love learning the moveset. I love understanding the moveset. That's what makes boss fight exciting, but also so memorable. Maybe that's just me. That's why I love God of War Ragnarok so much when it comes to boss fight. The way they branched out outside of what the normal boss fight in 2018 were. Um, that's why I'm excited for Phantom Blade because of the amount of boss fight. That also I mentioned that the key reason why I did not enjoy, for the most part, the boss fight in Beast of the Incarnation. It's because of why twofold difficulty, but also recycling of boss fight. Like I already beat you. If you want to give me the same boss, give me a different animation. Make me work for my ending. Maybe that's just me.
Did you
I
did
under
you
Yeah.
did you play the other game? Fucking Elden Ring?
No, I have yet to play Elden Ring, but not because
Oh,
of
why?
not because I for me I have played a lot of Soul games, and I'm prioritizing to play other genres and other games now over Elden Ring because Elden Ring, how do I say this? And people gonna vastly disagree with me on that front. I don't think Elden Ring have done enough to warrant a playthrough compared to other games that I want to experience. Like Souls games, I
Mhm.
played a Souls game. Like they added what a jump button.
I mean
Yes,
I
they
mean,
have
you said you like
difficult.
difficulty, and you say you
Yeah,
like
they have
big
difficult. Yeah,
bosses
they
and
have
learning
difficult
bosses'
boss fight.
patterns,
Yeah, but
and that's
look.
kind of what Elden Ring
Yeah,
is.
yeah,
Literally.
but look. Yeah. But look what I'm playing. I'm playing Star Wars Outlaw. I'm
I
playing.
mean, you also played Beast of Reincarnation, and you were disappointed with that, so I would think that you would be more
Yeah, but
inclined to play Elden Ring.
Elden for me it's like a game I will play when I have time to play when it. How do I say this?
I feel like you're making excuses right here, Omar.
Hero. Why are you
Facts.
saying?
Because
Why
Facts.
are you
what did
wait?
Beast of Reincarnation have that Elden Ring didn't? I'm kind of confused about that one.
New experience, new skills, new
Elden Ring is a
abilities.
new
New
experience for you.
You
What are you
haven't
talking about?
played it.
no, I played Dark Souls 1, 2. I
Okay,
didn't
that's
play
great, but
3.
it's not Dark Souls, but okay.
Every for the most part. everything in Dark Souls is in
I feel
the
like this is excuses,
Elden
Omar,
Ring.
because you would think this is like the perfect game for you. Everything that you claim to like in a game is literally an Elden Ring, but you like refuse to play it for whatever reason. Like it really doesn't make sense to me. You
I have
literally went to
because
description
I
of like I like bosses, I like difficulty, I like learning their move sets, I like pairing, I like all that shit is an Elden Ring.
because I got bored with the Souls formula if it doesn't do something different. This is why I didn't
But the formula that
enjoy.
you just said you liked is literally what you was literally Elden Ring. It you didn't describe anything innovative in the thing that you said that you just liked. You just said I like
Yeah,
hard
I
bosses. I like learning their patterns. I like pairing. I like cool bosses with cool move sets. Like that's not anything innovative, and that's all in Elden Ring.
no, but I'm talking about gameplay mechanic. What you can do, like for example, what's that game? I played a Soul game. I forgot what it's called. When I'm playing Soul game now, I want to see how to differentiate from the original, which is Dark Souls and Demon Souls. If you do, and I don't think adding a horse to your what you call it, to your game warrant a dif- um a different change. Yeah, I understand what the horde does, but to me, I'm
Mm,
sold out as of
I don't
right
know.
now.
Sound like you just kind of scared to take on Elden Ring though. Omar, just to be real.
Yeah, I'm gonna be real. Like it
It
sounds
just
like
sounds
you
like you just
avoiding
like I
it.
don't really want to take on that
Okay,
challenge.
do I need to pull my so the biggest issue with this one is because I beat the DLC for Bloodborne, but because I don't know what happened, but so basically when I bought Bloodborne, I bought it on a special account. Basically, I used to save money, and by doing so, you buy a game when it
Yes,
comes
we don't
out.
need the whole history, Omar.
Yeah,
But
but
you
basically,
making
okay, but
excuses and you're not playing it.
basically I have
He
that
said, "Yeah."
credential. Welcome to beating hard bosses in games. One of the best game that I love, Nocturne Noctis, have hard bosses. Like I love hard bosses. The reason why I'm playing Elden Ring right now is because I have other things to play.
But
I
what we're
have
saying,
other
what we're saying is, if
Omar, listen,
difficulty is
I
such
looked
a,
at your backlog. You
what
was playing some crazy cat game, some
yeah,
other
me
little
too.
shark thing. You
Again,
can't sit
but
here and
but
tell me your backlog was
again,
crazy, bro. You was playing the crate. I looked at some of the games you've been playing these past few weeks, and they have been the most weirdest, nichest looking. I found this at the back of the
and
PlayStation Store ass
something that I
games.
have always said I love
Yeah,
gameplay
Omar, but
wise.
you talking about like you got like this huge, like you got these must play games. These games aren't must play, bro. You just kind of found them on the side somewhere. Like let's be real, like
No, yeah,
these
no,
aren't must
no,
play ass games.
I was browsing on new
Exactly,
on.
that's what I'm saying. When you had that time, you could have played Elden Ring, but you didn't want to.
I literally said I don't want to. I literally said
I know, but then you said, "Well,
I
I'll do it when if I have the time." But I'm like, you had the
no
time, you just didn't want to.
no. I said I will do it when there is nothing to play.
Oh my god! So
But okay,
never.
basically to keep it short, I'm prioritizing new games over Elden Ring.
I hear you,
That's
but you weren't playing new games when I looked at your backlog. But it's fine, Omar. If you don't want to play Elden Ring,
I
that's
was
fine.
I
Omar, you were
was.
playing some weird cat shit. That was not new. That was some old shit that was in like the back. Like I saw like a bunch of little tinky winky indie games that I've never heard of in your back, like that you have been playing for these past 2 weeks. So I'm not trying to hear that these were new, brand new games. Like yeah, I saw that
No,
you were playing
that's a
Beast of
new game
Reincarnation and
though.
things like that. But a lot of these games that
But those are new games though.
Omar, they were
I
not. The
don't.
majority of these games aren't new. I mean, and you also played Star Wars Outlaws, which is not a new game either. So that's my point. You're playing a bunch
Yeah,
of
but
older games
that's
right
my
now.
backlog. That's
Oh
my
my god.
okay.
backlog.
So real story is, Omar describes Elden Ring to a T, but has avoided it for several years.
He
Let's just be
describes his
clear.
perfect game, which is Elden Ring, but does not want to play it. Fine.
I literally said from the day it came out, I have no interested in playing that game. I don't
You know,
think.
How do
just
how,
Uh,
so
massive
you
mass
so
appeal,
I
high
got bored.
Metacritic.
I
Everybody who
got.
played it praised it,
I
but you're just
got.
like, nah.
I got.
I'll
I
play
got.
Beast of Reincarnation. It got like a 72. I'll
I
play that instead.
got. I got bored with the whole formula.
The Souls
how
formula is one
how are
thing
you?
that you
The,
love,
the, yeah,
Omar.
the
That's
fuck you
literally
literally
what you
just
love.
described that.
What are you talking about? How do you get bored with the formula that you've literally just described to us as I I love great bosses. I love pairing. I love learning bosses' move sets and
That's
cool
oh
thing. That's literally the Souls genre, bro. What are you talking about?
yes, that's the soul genre. But
I got bored
every
of the
game.
I got bored of the
Oh
very
my
thing
god.
I'm describing that I
Every
love so much.
every game bring its own gameplay mechanic to it.
Okay, Omar. I'm done picking on you, bro. It's okay.
Hey, that's just me. I but why do
You make
but
no
legit
sense to me,
though?
Omar.
Why would you assume that I'm
Stage
ducking
says, "Do you
every?
mean action art like arcade action games? Is that what you like?"
I not I'm loving everything right now. I'm playing so many things right now.
Omar likes everything but the game he described.
Because
Okay,
I
that
want
sounds
to know.
great. Would you like a Souls game? No, I'm tired of that. Oh, okay. Omar.
Omar, Omar be like, Omar
But
walking,
no,
Omar
Omar
be
be like, you
walk.
know what I
I
want?
gotta,
I
but
want
no,
this ground beef thing with
but
seasoning
no,
on it
for
and
real though.
cheese,
Why are
just
you question?
much together with two buns. So you want a cheeseburger?
Why
No, I'm
are
tired of that. Oh, okay.
Arden? Why are you questioning my credibility when it comes to gaming? I'm at least
I ain't
difficult.
nobody
Whoa,
questioning
no,
your
she didn't
credibility.
question
I'm
your
just literally
credibility.
saying the game that you were describing that you like is Elden Ring, and you were like, "Nah, I don't want to play that." That's why I was just getting on your ass because I'm like, "That's literally Elden Ring. Why don't you just play that?" Nah, I don't want to
Because
play
I
that.
literally,
Okay.
but I have been saying it from the get go. I don't. I am not interested in playing Elden Ring. I said it.
I heard you.
I
I heard you,
We
but
we
that's why
we
it
and I
still
confused
did,
me
joking.
because
and it's
your
not something.
description of your perfect game was literally Elden Ring. You were like, "Nah,
If
I'm good."
they do something new with Dark Souls 4, I will be interested.
You know
Outside of
what?
that,
The day you play it and you come over here and tell us that it was everything you wanted, I'm gonna slap the shit out of you. I swear. Like, I actually really liked it, guys. It was actually fantastic. That last boss, oh my god. I'm gonna be like, okay, Omar. Okay.
I gotta ask Tay, what is the Cool Kids Club? Like, I, I, which one? What would
It's
you
not a
want me to
literal.
play?
He would watch you play Elden Ring. Is what he's saying. He would watch you play
Oh,
it.
when I will play it, I will let you know then. Oh no, but Stage, I played a Soul game before they were even cool to begin with. Like I was one of the OG that
Yeah, he
played
that old.
Demon Soul.
But not Elden Ring. Like
Uh,
He refuses.
at this point,
so
I'm about
Elden
I'm
Ring
about
is
to
the
I'm
only.
about to I'm about to like just cut all the excuses out. I'm about to just Venmo Weeb
I'm about to say, I'm
and be
just
like,
gonna gift
bro.
this man it and just let him play because I just want to hear his opinion.
Uh
I
huh.
just want to hear what he has to say, and then he come back and be like, "You guys, I was wrong." I'm like,
It was everything I
okay,
ever dreamed of. I learned the
oh,
bosses. It had
How is
Patty.
I was
It
wrong?
was
When
amazing.
I play, okay, so if I'm going to play Elden Ring, I'm gonna enjoy it.
I mean,
are you?
I
Not like
mean,
I'm not
you
gonna
you
enjoy
said
it,
you were
but
tired of
I'm
it.
yeah, I am tired of it, which is why I'm not playing it right now.
Hey,
I
look,
I'm sorry.
hey,
like
We're
look.
gonna leave you alone. We're
As
gonna leave you alone.
long as the chat is here to witness this, because yeah, I want it. I gotta have a
They are
witness.
bamboozled. They are confused. Like, Omar, what the hell are you talking about?
I'm gonna perfectly describe fried chicken
This,
and
I'm
then
telling you,
tell
this
you I'm
man.
tired of fried chicken.
Yeah, I would love this deep fried, culinary bird that just is just seasoned in 13 herbs and spices. So you want fried chicken? No, I'm tired of that. Oh, okay. Yeah, okay, cool.
Yeah, let's go for salmon instead, because I want something new. Okay, okay.
Oh shit.
So the short answer is yes. Difficulty matters to Omar in his enjoyment of his games. That is the
Yeah.
short answer.
Yeah.
Uh, Morgan, uh, does difficulty affect your enjoyment of video games?
No. As I've said multiple times on this podcast, I'm mostly a story focused gamer. Like I prefer the story to be the strongest aspect. Now, I don't it like that's not saying that if a game has like a mid story, I won't enjoy the game. Right. I played many games that had like mid story and great gameplay and I enjoyed that. But that's kind of where my head is. And whenever I play a game, I 99% of the time I just choose like the whatever the preset difficulty is. You know, whether it's like normal or average or whatever they call it, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's usually what I play. The only time I decide to crank it up is if it's like a game I've played before, right? Like if it's like a remake or something like with Black Flag, I cranked up the difficulty because I played the game multiple times, beat it multiple times. I know the gameplay. So, this time around when I'm playing it, I'll play it like, a little harder since I know how to play it. Uh, or if it's like an IP I'm familiar with, like I don't know, like Uncharted or God of War, I might crank the difficulty up. But it's not like a necessity to me because like as soon as like shit gets too hard, I ain't got no shame in turning that bitch right back down. I'm like, oh nope. That boss kicked me a little too hard. We're gonna have to turn that shit right back down to easy mode. Let's see here. Like it doesn't change how I feel about a game. Like,
Yeah.
I don't walk away and be like,
She
damn,
said,
that shit was
ain't no
way too
shame in
easy.
ain't no shame in my game. I'll turn it
Yeah, ain't no
down.
shame, bro. I'll put that shit on baby mode. I don't give a fuck.
I have definitely done that.
I do
Yep.
not care. As long as
So
I,
do you prioritize time then?
prioritize
So
time. What do you mean
not
by
to
that?
waste
No, she's
not to
prioritizing
waste
her
time.
enjoyment.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, it's not
Mm,
about a matter of time for me. It's just
mm.
I don't feel a need to put it on super crazy ass hard mode for what. Like I wouldn't get any enjoyment out of that. Like for me to
Oh, no,
constantly
no, no,
be
I'm not talking
dying
about
or
that. I'm talking about dropping it too easy.
no, if I drop it to easy, it's because it's too fucking hard, and I'm just not.
Mm,
I'm not gonna sit here and fucking fight a boss 28 times for what? Like,
mm.
for what purpose? Like, who am I proving that to? No one.
Exactly.
So I'm gonna drop the difficulty down. I don't care. Like, this is for me and for my enjoyment. So I'm gonna drop it down, and I'm gonna continue. I'm gonna continue
Okay.
my ass right on. Like, I'll even skip modes. Like here, like when I was, um, deeply flawed and I decided to play Days Gone for
I've been in that position. I know how you feel.
Oh, I think your
So,
mic. I think your mic did the
so
thing
Yeah,
again.
she might need a new mic.
yeah, it's the wire. Like
well,
when I touch it, it like
you,
like I think Sony decided to come down and say, "Bitch, you talking about Days Gone?" But anyway, yeah, when I like again because it was a part of the when I bought my PS5, you know how they had that promotion where you had like 20 games for free or whatever from the PlayStation catalog or whatever,
Mhm.
and Days Gone was one of them. So I was like, well, I hadn't played it and it's free, so whatever. Yeah, well, it was by the way, it was still fucking buggy as shit. Crashed on me multiple times, even after being like 4 or 5 years old at that point. But besides that, when I would have to, because I'm not for the hordes. I don't give a fuck. I don't care. You can call me a baby. I don't give a shit. I was not about to fight no 6,800 ass fucking zombies running at
You
my ass.
did not fight them?
Hell fucking no. That's why I didn't want to play the game because I was just like, hordes. No, I'm okay. I'm good with that. So I decided to play the game anyway. I was just like, well, I'm bored, so here we go. And you could have played the entire game without having to fight the hordes. You could
No,
avoid them basically.
no, only, no, there is
Hold
one
on.
mechanic.
Can I finish, sir?
Okay.
Damn. Okay, so I get to the one mission where it's like you have to fight the horde, right? Um,
It's
didn't go
literally the
well. Didn't go
trailer.
well. Yeah,
Yeah.
yes, Omar. Okay. Didn't go well. Okay. Died like twice. And then after the second time, it asked me, would you like to lower the difficulty and skip this? And I say, absolutely. I lower the difficulty and
Wait,
skip the whole horde
they
boss
let
fight.
you skip?
Yes, they let you. And I don't give a
Holy
fuck. I did
shit!
it immediately. immediately. I was like, because this is not fun to me. I don't like
Yeah, no,
this.
I
That's
understand.
why
I
I didn't play
understand.
the game in
Different
the first place.
interpretation.
I don't want to fight hordes of zombies when I only have like 6 bullets. That's not fun for me. Like, why
Yeah,
am I doing this?
I agree.
Like, I'm like, I got 6 bullets, a grenade, and 1 flamethrower, and I'm supposed to be like, all right, here you go. Here's 200 zombies. Have fun. Run away. I'm like, the fuck? No, no. And that's why I kept dying because I'm like, this is so impractical. What the fuck am I supposed to do against a horde of like flesh eating 200? They're all coming at me from 68, different directions. And they gave me a fucking, an empty paper towel dispenser and said, have at it. Like, the fuck am I supposed to do with this? So yeah, I kept dying and they were like, yeah, you want to skip it? I said, shit, yes, please. Yesterday, bitch. I'll skip it. Yes. I was like, oh, this is an option. Fantastic. I skipped it immediately because I was about to stop playing the game. I was like, if I have to fight this horde, then this is where I'm going to stop because I'm not enjoying this. So they let me skip it and I continued the game and I still didn't enjoy the game. It was a waste of my time and I didn't like it. But I was happy that they gave me the option to skip. And so that's kind of how I feel when it comes to difficult games, or not difficult games, but games in general. I will do whatever is comfortable for me. I don't feel the need to prove anything to anyone and like, oh yeah, man, I beat the boss with 1 HP left, one-handed with no armor and, one sword tied behind my back.
Exactly.
Oh, fuck yeah, man. I'm just OP. Like, who gives a shit? I beat the boss. I finished the game. I got the plat, maybe. That's all the proof I need that I beat the game. I don't give a fuck about how I did it, how much ammo I had, how much armor I had. Oh, I did it with, I did it with like the poison fin attached to me. So I had like half of the health that you guys had. And I did it with my eyes closed. So it's just different. I got a different completion than you guys. And that's why a lot of people are also upset about the fact that PlayStation took away like difficulty trophies because they feel the need that they have to prove that they beat it on like the hardest level because it's like a brag thing for them. Like, yeah, you might have got the plat, but I got the plat on hard. I'm like, I don't give a shit.
Yeah,
I don't
I
care.
would not care.
We both beat the same thing. We both saw the same story. We both got to the same conclusion, bro. It doesn't matter how we did it. It's fucking K. Like, I promise you, no one's gonna care. Okay, just beat it how you want to beat it. If you want it cranked up, cool. But I'll put that bitch on baby mode and have absolutely no regrets about that shit whatsoever. And I don't care. As long as I get the game done, Especially if it's a game I like, I will crank that bitch down immediately. Like, nope, let me crank it down. I need it. It's taking too long. I don't want to die 68. Like I said, 68 times. I'm good. But
Nope.
yeah, that's kind of how I feel.
Yeah, no, yeah, I agree with that. Like you said, I always try to give the benefit of the doubt and be like, all right, let's start on normal, see how I feel, and if I'm getting smacked up, I'm like, all right, cool, let's go ahead and crank that down, and let's proceed. Yeah, no
Put it
shame.
down to the what's the Wolfenstein mode for the easiest one?
Yeah,
Like when
the little crying
Baby, the
baby.
baby, the
one,
crying
baby.
baby.
Don't hurt
There
me.
is literally
Yeah,
a
don't hurt me.
pacifier in his
Yeah,
mouth.
The
I-
pacifier and the bib. I'm
Yeah.
like, yep, that's me.
yeah. I was like, yep, warm my milk up too. Like, you got jokes, warm it up. I want
All day long. No regrets.
You know
Really?
what? You know what?
Wolfenstein?
No, we're
No,
just
oh,
saying.
no,
We're
not
just
with
saying.
Wolfenstein. I'm just
Not
saying
with
that's
Wolfenstein, but
I
we're
don't need to
saying in
do it with
general.
Wolfenstein.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that's me in general. Like if I need to lower down, I'll be that baby. I'll just be that baby with that bib, with the pacifier. I don't care.
You know what? I truly wish. I truly wish Kay was here because I'm curious about
Oh,
her
Kay likes to
opinion.
crank it up. She
I
likes
mean,
Souls games and
Kay
things like
Okay,
that.
so
literally
she is
fought.
like me
Kay,
then.
Kay
Okay.
literally talked about fighting one boss like 58 times.
Yeah, she likes that, and because she's a big fan of what's that
Liza
Pinocchio
P.
and Liza P and shit.
Liza
Like,
P,
Yeah.
yeah, she. I mean,
That-
you talk to her about these games all the time, so you should know.
I was curious if she would do what you do, which is lower it down if you couldn't.
Nah,
No.
she's a crank it up
Okay.
type of girl.
Yes,
Okay.
she's the one that
So
went
she's
back.
like me.
She went back specifically after we were all done with Horizon and went to go play on the super hard difficulty because,
Oh yeah, I
like,
thought you wanted to get the trophy for that.
I
not
mean,
trophy.
yeah, I mean, she wants a trophy, but she was like excited for that mode. I'm like, I don't care
Yeah.
about that. Like,
Yeah, she gets excited for stuff like that.
yeah, like Priscilla's the same way when it comes to like horror stuff. Like, I mean, Morgan heard me complaining all last night we were doing some like crazy challenge on Killing Floor 3 where she wanted to get all three of these trophies at once on my account. So I had to play on an account. You really don't understand how difficult this is until you play Killing Floor 3, but like truly, but you have to play, you can't buy a weapon from the trader at all. You cannot
Oh
fire your
no,
primary weapon, meaning so basically I had to sell my primary weapon to make sure I didn't accidentally fire it.
that's
Uh,
crazy.
and you have to do it on hard. Then
Oh
you have
yeah,
to
no,
beat the boss.
That I played Game for 3 for one night with Innate and
Fox.
Fox. Yeah, um, I can't imagine this one. That's not fun. That's not fun for me. No.
Yeah. So it was killing me. So eventually, because I was like, that would frustrate me. I was like, all right, what I'll do is I'll play my account, and then she'll get on her account where she could just fight normally. And it was still tough because killing floor amps up again, like to explain for people who don't understand, killing floor amps up the difficulty of the stage you're on and gives you more mobs and makes them harder to kill the more people join.
And enemies have different varieties of uh, enemy type
Yeah,
in one level alone.
so like if you don't have the right team makeup, all these other things, like people are lacking firepower, or or have incompetent builds, like they don't know how to use their
Lack of
character.
ammo.
Yeah,
Like, nah, this is nightmare, dude.
yeah, it creates like a really big issue with the team dynamic. So eventually on that run we did get a full 6-man team, but they suck. So at one point we had 243 mobs left in one of the later rounds, and all the other people had died. And on this round, so this is another thing that happens, modifiers happen randomly when you're playing Killing Floor. And on this one, the really small mobs that are really fast, when you kill them they explode and it'll hurt you. So mind you, they're easy to kill, so I can still kill them with my pistol, because that's all I could use was my secondary pistol, which is super weak, and it can have no mods on it. So that's another thing. You can mod up your weapons to have like increased damage, or increased handling and all these other things. So you not only couldn't only use your secondary, you had to have no mods. So basically I had three grenades, and I could heal myself 3 times and like basically shoot. Like, so unless I bought, you know, I stopped at the trader to buy more ammo for my handgun, whatever. But like later, the really hard mobs start to come out that take a ton of damage, because by that time you're meant to have like your big, you know, power stopping weapons. And like I said, like I could basically do nothing to them at that point. Um, so yeah, like that's just like a good example of like when that type of stuff drives me crazy, when they put you in these difficult situations where you're just like, oh, you can't do this, you can't do this. Like, it would honestly, I literally think it's impossible by yourself. You're supposed to do it while you're in a team that hopefully doesn't suck. um but yeah, that was like a funny one. But I do know one that Omar likes that I definitely will never do, that I think has an extremely stupid difficulty. And the only people that do this are infatuated with that game, and it happens to be on screen right now. The sequel to that
Watching it
game,
right now, yeah.
which is Rebirth, when you play on the hardest
Um,
difficulty,
I,
and they give you a bunch of modifiers that
I,
basically screw over your entire capability throughout the game, and it's a
I,
mess.
I can't, chat. Believe me when I say that. I truly believe every single game should be like Driver for hard. Don't make the game hard. Limit yourself with hard. I love that. Because it make you play the game differently than if you're playing it on normal. I just hate artificial difficulty, which is you crank up the health and you make do more damage, and and you're done. Nah, give me new move. Give me stuff like that.
But yeah. Yeah, like I said, for me, yeah, I'm like I said, I agree with Morgan though. I'm cranking it down immediately. I don't got time. We just joked about how many games I got to play, and like we've said, 600 is a lie. It's more like 3,000. But yeah, I just don't acknowledge the rest of them. I tell them, they're abandoned, at the orphanage, and it's like, look,
Mm.
I'm sorry, games. Like these 600 are it. Like that's probably all I got. Like
I have literally games, PC games in my backlog on disc that I can no longer play.
Damn. He said it's a whole new format out here. He's only waited so long.
Yeah, I mean there's
Can
no
Yeah.
you
disc
repeat
drive
what you
anymore
said? Because I didn't
on
Yep.
hear
PC.
you. Can
no.
you repeat what you said, Weeb? Because I didn't
I
fully catch
I
it.
I have PC games in my backlog on disc. So back in the day when PC still had disc drives,
Yeah,
which I can't
we've
play
said way
currently
Ah,
back.
because I don't have a working disc drive.
Exactly. Nah, yeah,
because
that's
of
old school. Cause I got a few discs on my shelf, from when we got StarCraft 2, when they still sold it at stores. So I know what you mean. It's
I,
converted now, but yeah.
But I think Jade Empire, yeah, that's the one game I never finished.
Ah,
Oh man.
that's one that people are hoping that they bring over to PC in that new backwards compatibility program, to be playable via the Xbox app. So you might have a new way to play it pretty soon.
Yeah, didn't realize like was also looking at some games that I missed out on. Like there are some games that are basically abandoned. Remember the Chronicles of Riddick games? The
Absolutely.
yeah, they're delisted anywhere. That you can no longer
Oh,
get these games. So if you bought them back on when it was a list on Steam, you're lucky and cherish that game because like like yeah I did find some people offering the PC version on disc, so that's uh, so I'm looking at trying to find a PS3, but because also it's not backwards compatible with Xbox, so even if you have the 360 version, you can only play it on the 360. So yeah, there are so many games that are, especially with Hollywood actors. I think probably Stranglehold. This might be another one with that what is it called? That John Woo actor. That's probably also one that I think I have that on GOG, but I'm not sure if you can still buy it because I didn't find it on Steam. But yeah, there's so many games that are like yeah, in the all digital future, basically will be impossible to get once they're delisted. So that's another frightening thing to look forward to. But yeah, but you're probably curious about my opinion about difficulty
yeah.
or
You're up next. So jump in.
yeah. Okay. Uh, yeah. I mean, I'm with you guys. Like, I don't give a fuck about Souls games. Like, they're time wasters. It's not just that. It's like a try playing Bloodborne, but yeah, the games waste time without actually giving you anything to show for, and then punish you for it because then oh, your weapon
Ooh.
degraded. Oh,
it
how do
it
you
gave
repair my
you
weapons?
experience.
Oh,
It
you need blood, souls, whatever. Oh shit. So yeah, which I don't have because I just got my ass kicked. And the enemies have these really weird hitboxes and like you're on the top
Yeah,
of
I
the stage.
know. FromSoft is known for the atrocious
Yeah,
boxes.
yeah,
I will
exactly.
give you
And
that
and
one.
look, all the respect if you're a Souls fan and you pushed through that and you got good, but I'm like, yeah, I'm like, I don't really want to reward bad game design. Like, look, I've look, I'm not saying that that's necessarily an age thing or anything, but like I've lived through the 8-bit era. I lived through the time when games were made to make you fail because they didn't. They forgot that they're no longer making games for arcades. So it was the point that people were gonna die a lot and kept on putting in those coins.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I've
Fucking
played games.
Lion King flashbacks.
Yeah, and I mean the Lion King was still being quite generous. I mean I mean games that didn't even have save states, so you basically were just
Mm-hmm.
yeah, okay, if you died, and you had no continues, okay, you can start all over again, which is, I suppose, much more manageable if the game can be finished in a couple of hours as opposed to 100 hours, which is kind of the problem I have with Souls games, and it's the thing is like the time I would have to spend in it to actually start enjoying it is like yeah, but how many other games could have played with that? And I'm not trying to be a purist here and say yeah, it's I have to play as many games as possible, and I cannot spend a lot of time in a game. I mean, I love JRPGs. If I have a JRPGs that I have to spend 100 hours in, I'll if I enjoy it, I will do it. Though I also do appreciate the shorter experiences that we're getting because again every game needs to be as long as the developer want them to be, but I do also appreciate if you don't waste my time. And as for difficulty is like generally I just go for the normal difficulty, like I rarely go for lower or higher because that generally is fine. And um, there are some games where I have to admit I did lower it. I think uh, for recent one, the East Odin Fulgana. I'm not sure if the remaster is as annoying, but I did definitely do that for the original version because at some point it was the difficulty spikes were bosses were so crazy. Where I'm like, yeah, this is not fun. I do have to. I want to see more of the story. So as long as it doesn't waste my time, I'm good with sticking to the difficulty I've chosen. And some games like if I want to go for the plat, like I remember the East 8, East 9 had you have to play it and I think it was nightmare difficulty. You still have to play it again, which kind of helps it as sort of a new game plus. So you do keep all your weapons, but the enemies are way tougher. So yeah, that. But if you love the game, I'm willing to do it. I think I did with Darksiders, where I also played it on I think the highest difficulty to because you also need that for the plat. But yeah, I mean, if it's fun, if it's doable, if it's manageable, I'm not opposed to it. But yeah, in general, I think the normal difficulty is fine. And the thing is, it's very subjective because it that highly depends on what kind of games you like and how you're I don't know how you uh, if it's a skill issue, but it kind of depends what you're used to because if you're
Agreed.
uh, like for example, I'm quite used to first person shooters, so when I play Wolfenstein the new Colossus, I've heard people complaining about the difficulty, even if you just played it on normal difficulty. And there were some sections where I'm like, okay, yeah, they were quite like you died a lot, but they were also doable because I was like, okay, sure, but you can literally save at any time in the game. Like you can save literally during a gun battle, and you can just basically scum save as you way through it. Basically, like there was the court. If you guys played the courtroom scene, that was crazy because you were like in a confined area.
Mm-hmm.
They were
Yeah, that was
shooting at
tough.
you every side, and you die. And yeah, I had to save like every time you were like, okay, I beat a couple enemies. I'm not taking cover. Nobody's shooting at me. Save, and then see, okay, what way I have to go to survive this. You know, and I mean, Doom Eternal is also an example of a game where it doesn't necessarily force you to but they have these sort of they had these sort of kill rooms that were sort of optional, but they were challenging as in you had to plan ahead. Like you had to okay, you were yeah, of course you would die a couple of times, but you had to figure out, okay, yeah, here is, I have to go to that direction. There is armor. I have to take out that enemy first because it will keep summoning more enemies, and if I don't take them out quickly, I'm going to be overwhelmed. So yeah, there are certainly challenges, and that sense is also sort of getting good, but it's more forgiving, as in it doesn't force you to deal with the issues that a game has, or yeah, what is it, bad game design, at least parts of the design that are not agreeable to me, if I want to be very careful. But yeah, I mean, if you're enjoying it, if it were, and that's also what I can get if you're into Souls games, that you enjoy that. Like I have games where I enjoy that. Like I enjoy it with first-person shooters. There are other games where I enjoy the challenge. And there are games where I don't enjoy, where I'm like, okay, yeah, this is not fun for me. This is just frustrating. You're just making me waste time. And especially difficulty spikes are annoying. Like when certain there's always, you probably always have, you remember, I probably played a game where it's like that one boss, that every boss you breathe through, you defeat him in one go, and then you had one boss that was so annoying that you were just kept on dying and dying and dying, and then you just probably push through at with one HP left or whatever, and then everything else was still easy again. Like the final boss was like a piece of cake compared to that one boss. That's kind of annoying, because then the game is kind of uh, um, you're yeah, it's just there to frustrate you. It's not there to, it's not balanced in a way. It's I don't know. The developer, some developers were like, yeah, we're just, oh yeah, now we're gonna just overindulge ourselves and just make life as miserable as possible for our customers, because yeah, why not? Um, but yeah, I mean, I and then I also have no issue with difficulties, add difficulties. I know there were some people. I've heard some people saying like they have issues, like when they patch in difficulties later on. Like there were some or make it easier. Like I think Returnal had, for example, that you couldn't save up till a certain point, and they made that easier later on the patch. I think, was it Trek to Yomi or Sifu? That also add difficulty settings. I get sort of that you're sort of you have sort of pride and accomplishment in the fact that you played a day one uh, on the highest, on the one difficulty that was available, which was difficult. And you kind of feel like people who are playing it later kind of cheat. But I mean, if that's true, then it's also true that if you don't play the game day one and you played it patched and with all the improvements they made to make life easier for you, I mean, then you would be cheating too, because I had to play that game day one, or I wanted to play the game day one with all the bugs, with all the inconveniences, all the frustrations. But I did because I wanted to play day one. Any person who plays a Ubisoft game day one will know what I'm talking about. And yeah, it's fine that after if you pick it up a half a year later and it's fully patched, and it's a breeze to play through. Yeah, but that doesn't really change the fact that I had to suffer through that. And yeah, I mean, I could have waited, but I didn't want to. I want to play at that point in time. So it's perhaps a different discussion. I'd say that developers should also take care to not screw people over. That sense, like it said, like Mospia is a perfect example where the game is fine, but did patch in later the ability to replay levels, because you weren't able to do that in the base game. And if you want to get the plat, you also need to do all the side missions, and they're if you didn't pick that mission up or didn't do it when you had the chance, uh, if you're a day one gamer, you were out of luck. You could no longer revisit those levels. So yeah, I mean, is that again, like it's choice, and I don't think it's a problem if games are made easier afterwards or add difficult settings. If they don't, fine too. I'm not saying that every game needs to have an easy mode or a journalist mode, as some would say. Um, I mean, to be fair, I have a lot to say about game journalists. I do kind of understand that you want to have an easy mode if it's your job and you have to, you have 10 more games to go through before the end of the week. And you're like, okay, I don't want to have to waste unnecessary time. Uh, Other hands, there's also probably something to be said. Like most people will play this game on normal mode, so they do kind of want to know, how enjoyable the game is in the most chosen difficulty. So, but again, another discussion. But yeah, as you guys have said, like it's not an issue for me. Uh, Again, preference normal. If necessary, I will lower it. If I find it fun enough, I might, or again necessary. If it's too boring, I might raise it. But again, I'm not shaming anybody for choosing the baby mode or whatever. I mean, that's in the end, it's about making it enjoyable. What it's better, I'd say, better if somebody just lowers the difficulty and actually finishes the game than just gives up because
Hundred percent.
they're not having fun. That's again the entire point. Like as Neil Druckmann would say, not every game is supposed to be fun, as in, the experience is supposed to make you feel joyful, but it has to be fun to play. Like if you're feeling frustrated in playing it, yeah, there's no point, and it's in the end it's a game, and can have can be fun in different ways, and certainly I can. I mean, again, different discussion, but there's certainly games where, like you said, Morgan, like I love narrative-driven games, love stories. So if it has a great story or great characters, I might be willing to forgive some frustrating gameplay mechanics. Like
Hmm.
that's sort of how it works. It's games are they're more than the sum of their parts, right? They're a holistic experience. Like you're not gonna
Yep.
you can love a game while knowing that if you analyze the parts, it might be a very flawed experience. There are plenty of games that are rated 7 or whatever that are absolutely loved. Okay? And I can totally see why it got that score because it certainly has those flaws, but like for me it's not a big deal. It's not something that's deterring me from playing the game because I love the series or this particular game, and I can look past the flaws. Like sort of the synergy of it all is still making me feel like I'm having a good time. And I can totally understand that if that's not clicking with you, that you're basically just gonna see all the flaws, and that's not gonna yeah, be enjoyable experience for you. Um, but yeah, so there, I have no issue with difficulty options. I don't think it necessarily needs to be as difficult as possible, or I don't have any issue to play it in whatever mode is yeah the most enjoyable experience for me. Yeah.
Cool.
Nice.
Nope. Yeah, no, I agree with a lot of that as well. Like we both said, we pretty much all agree that like the normal is perfectly fine, and the whole idea is, and the moral of this is, of course, with the discussion as it always pops up, play on the difficulty that works for you. If you want to play on the hardest difficulty, do that, and if you're enjoying that. But the key factor is, are you enjoying it, right? Like, don't overly frustrate yourself. Like I said, like there's games where I've played on the easiest difficulty, plenty of games where I played on normal, and plenty of games that I've played on the hardest difficulty, and I had a ball. Like like I said, Dead Space is like the main one where I bring up because I really, really enjoyed the way the hard difficulty was on those games, despite you you know like I said, you could get breathed on the wrong way and die. You also, if you executed with surgical precision, with your shots and were careful, you never had ammo problems. You had no problem having upgrade material for your suit or your weapons, but you just had to choose carefully, and I was okay with that. Um, I didn't feel like I was resource starved or anything. I'm not a fan of that. That's something a lot of people like with harder difficulties, especially in survival games like the resource starve. I hate that. I hate walking around with half a bullet everywhere I go.
Yeah.
Yeah, that drives me crazy. I'm just like
Or
I
you
really don't have enough.
you're hungry. I need to eat or I'll die.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Would you think bullets are difficult to deal with compared to fighting in general? Like with bullet, enemies can you can miss enemies if you're shooting at them, but with fighting, it's easier to do.
What do you what do you mean?
Like with the sword, like a challenge, like walking with the half bullet. I meant
Well, yeah,
a few
one
bullets.
is resource. I'm still managing a resource, but a different one. So, I mean, in that case, that's where stamina and all that stuff came in for a lot of those games. Was your stamina is now that limited or finite resource, or the amount of EXP you gain, so you're not as strong on a harder difficulty, or there's still some sort of management. But again, that even what you're asking, that's gonna depend on your ability to use that ammo appropriately, right? like the reason I don't like it is because a lot of times they want you to do something else, and I don't like altering the way that I want to play certain games. um like I have to alter the encounter. Like I have to, like, people often talk about, oh man, Resident Evil so easy on the hardest difficulty. I just ran past all the mobs and then
But yeah, that's
open the
what they
door.
do.
Yeah, like, so people do that. I don't like doing that. I don't
That's
want to do
also
that.
what they. That's also what they do with Souls games. Like you literally run past the mobs
Well,
and go
see, the
to
way they
the.
do it in Souls games doesn't bother me because it's not a horror thing. In horror movies, or horror games rather, I don't want to leave 15 zombies in a hallway moaning and
Oh,
constantly
like that.
bothering me, and then I knowing I got to go back through that hallway 16 more times because that's the way Resident
Yeah,
Evil is
that's why.
structured.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You got to go through the same area. So I'm like, what's the point of leaving all them enemies there? You're going to have to run through them again.
you got to run through them again. Exactly. That's why I don't like that. But then in the Souls game or something like some of the speedrunners do, they run off a cliff buck naked, with a sword and roll 6 times and, karate chop the boss. Like, yeah, that's fine. Like, that's a tactic. If you got skills like that and, what I'm saying, you're just the glass cannon of the year, and you're just like, the way I play Souls games
Yeah,
is,
Souls people
I
are
wear a
built like this.
toga. Yeah, I wear a toga and I rock a sword, and that's it. Like, and it's like, yeah, like that's fine. Like, that's a strategy, and like we said, like, that's a way to typically speed run, right? Speed
Yeah.
runners invent all kinds of crazy tactics. Like, I've seen speed runs where people literally play the game like backwards because the movement backwards is faster than forwards. Like that's when you're just getting into a whole different realm. But yeah, that's why I don't like it in horror games versus, like, it wouldn't bother me to run past mobs in a Souls game. Like, I run past mobs all the time. You have to, because they respawn, especially in something funny enough like Elden Ring. When I played Elden Ring, they come back in those locations. And it's like, I'm strong enough, I can kill them, but I don't care. They're just in my way. I can just casually keep going about my way on my horse at super speed, and they can't do nothing about it. Um, so yeah, that's again different reasons for different games, right? Like you said about the shooting thing, I have no problem with the accuracy of shooting and things of that nature. So I'm not wasting bullets in that manner. But yeah, if I feel overly resource starved, where like I was saying, I literally cannot shoot them because it's not like I don't have enough bullets no matter what I do. That's when I get annoyed. Like, I always like to make sure I have enough. Like, to me, the closest I probably got was like the perfect example of just barely not overly frustrating was The Last of Us on the hardest difficulty, but
Yeah,
uh,
that
with
that's
upgraded
different.
with different upgraded weapons because it was still manageable. There's a shiv right there for those three ones. And if you upgrade and know exactly what you're doing, which is how you're supposed to be on the hardest difficulty, you're supposed to know what you're doing and you're supposed to understand the mechanics and the resource management. I'm fine with that because there's enough. There's three shivs in here somewhere, or there's two shivs and there's equipment for me to make the third one, or if I make my shiv unbreakable, then I have enough shivs for everybody. Like there's a way to do it. As long as
Also,
there's a
you
way to
can
do it, I'm good.
always make use of the best goat and all goat, the what you call it, the brick, a brick over what you call it, over bottle, because with the brick you can actually one shot a clicker. So
Yeah, exactly.
there are ways around playing the difficulty. I'm fully with you on that front. However, permadeath is so fucking, how do I say this? Cheesy, because you could literally die for no fault of your own.
Well,
And I
that's
mean,
a big reason why I don't like a lot of games that have permadeath, because if accidental death is super easy to happen, that's
so
gonna drive me
unfair.
crazy.
It's not even your fault. It's just unluckiness. And I've seen it happen so many times where the game glitch and you die, and you're like, but I just spent 25 to 30 hours just trying through the game. Permadeath. Like, this is so unfair.
Yeah, but then there's other instances where I don't mind it, right? Like I even forgot because in the Fire Emblem Three Houses they basically removed it, but um or it could be turned off or whatever. I think it's just removed though. I can't remember, but basically Fire Emblem has always had permadeath, but it didn't matter to me because in my strategy in the way that I play, no one is gonna die on my team, not even by accident. Like I am, because as long as you execute your strategy properly and you are aware of where the enemies are at all times and how you deploy your units on the field and how you level them and what you equip them with, you are always guaranteed a way to beat the stages reasonably. So permadeath was never really a problem. The only time it was an issue was when I thought I was playing without it and I forgot that I had it on, and I let somebody die and I was like, ah, she'll be back, and then I got like two missions later and I realized she was dead. But it was just like I was being careless because I thought it was off. So I changed the way that I played
Yeah,
because
your mentality is different if you're playing knowing your game have permadeath or not. You're
exactly.
gonna be way more cautious.
Yep. Um.
Take less risks. Yeah, I get you.
Yeah, we're
You know
almost
what the
up
funny part is?
out of here. So
Yeah, go ahead. Say what you want to say.
no, go ahead, finish up because I'm gonna do one more. We're gonna do one more topic and then we're gonna head out.
I spoke so much about the safe, the what you call it, the game difficulty compared to all the other topics combined.
Yeah, I mean, ain't nothing
Because
wrong
I'm
with that.
just that passionate about the difficulty. I thought everyone was like that until I met you guys. Holy shit.
No, it'd be like that. Um, but yeah, we'll cover the other Square Enix split thing later. I just want to end it on a more positive note because, like I said, it's an exciting time to be a gamer. This week, this week and a little bit of last week, we've gotten a lot of previews for a lot of our upcoming games. Um, Basically, I mean, pretty much anything I could think of that's upcoming has gotten something. I know you posted Tides of Annihilation. Um, we recently got, like we mentioned, the Kingdom Hearts 4 stuff. I know me and Morgan specifically have been consuming every little bit of data and analysis that we can on Star Wars, um, Star Wars Zero Company. Like, there's just been so much stuff. So just, in wake of all the excitement, especially
John
in
Walker, we just got information. I had to mention that because
I mean, we're gonna mention it. It's just,
oh,
but yeah, I wasn't listening. I'm just saying we got a ton of information. But yeah, if you guys are looking forward to anything that you've seen, has anything popped up on your radar? Has anything changed? Are you looking to pre-order something you haven't, based on all these previews and all the things that we've seen? Just, like I said, the excitement is, like I said, we're right there. We're about to start that onslaught of games. What have you pre-ordered? Or like I said, has any of these previews gotten you there? I know even um, the Plague's Tale Resonance was also shown. They showed some combat, and then they also did a story trailer. So again, a ton of stuff before Gamescom later this month. But yeah, just quickly, was there anything that you want to highlight that you were excited about? New news that was revealed for a game, or anything of that nature? I'll go first per example for me, because no one else is playing this one, I don't believe. But Fire Emblem. Fire Emblem got a massive, massive reveal with the Nintendo Direct. Um, for me as a longtime fan, just being able to see a lot of the systems fleshed out and done correctly this time, as opposed to the overcorrection that Engage was, or basically how underwhelming some of the combat was in Three Houses. It really seems like they're looking to strike a really good balance, as well as introducing a ton of new characters, but also a bunch of new classes that have never been in the game before. So I'm really excited to see it. They revealed time skips and some of the other things that are going on, how the avatar system is going to work in the game. The avatar, for people who are not familiar with Fire Emblem, is usually your character, or a character that represents you basically in the game. Usually sometimes you are a physical character that's on screen, and sometimes you're just a strategist. They talk to you, but you're like off screen. Um, but yeah, a lot of this was exciting. Elephants, Kamehameha looking waves, guns, like
yeah, I saw that one. I'm like, damn. Uh, Firehouse, Fire Emblem DBZ
Fortune's Week.
style.
Yeah, yeah, it looked real Dragon Ball Z. Like they're really just going all out. It looks like they pulled out a ton of the stops, and then on top of the direct, we got a bunch of previews. A bunch of people got hands on. Morgan specifically sent me, the one from Skill Up, who I like from an articulation standpoint. He tends to articulate his point well, as like what he experienced and things of that nature. And not only him, but several people were just gushing about the size and scope of this game, um, the ability to switch between the different protagonists. So
Fire
that's
Emblem
yeah,
or a different game
Fire
now?
Emblem.
Oh, okay. Okay.
But yeah, like they were going crazy and absolutely loving it. Yeah, so I'm extremely excited. So that's probably the biggest one for me. Ton of other information, but I'll let the others speak about what they had that was exciting. I know Morgan is also looking forward to Star Wars, so I'll let her bring that one up if she wants to. But yeah, Morgan, was there anything in particular that you saw from previews or other things, including, like we said, Dawn Walker, which I know you're excited for as well, that you were excited for that was revealed?
You're asking revealed recently or just like
Yeah,
revealed like
yeah,
in general?
all the stuff, like the previews and all the stuff we recently just got.
Um,
Like the way the whole time system worked, and all. I'm just saying anything that was revealed that kind of changed or got you more excited for the titles you were already looking forward to, or things of that
oh,
nature, kind of like I was explaining about
um,
Fire Emblem.
yeah, I mean, Star Wars Zero Company, I'm definitely looking forward to that. The more I see from it, more excited I get. Um, looks great. I've never played XCOM before, but I have played tactic games. I played a few, RPG tactical games, with the high school game. I can't recall what it was uh called. And then it also the titles of these games are I'm
Just
sorry.
looking
I
at mine right
am
now.
yeah, like I am like I've been playing so many games. They're all just kind of
Oh,
merging together.
Demon
But
School,
I've played yeah, Demon School but I've
Triangle
also played the other
Strategy.
one. Yes, Triangle Strategy. Thank you. I can't remember the names worth of shit sometimes. So yeah, I'm familiar with the tactics. So I'm glad I have played some before because seeing the gameplay and seeing like some of the reveals for Zero Company, I probably would have been confused as to what the hell was going on and what they were talking about. So having some experience in the genre does help. But from what they've been talking about and for some of the people who got to preview it, because recently people got to play, I think like 4 or 5 hours of the game. And, I've listened to some people who are like, tactic veterans, and I also watched a few people who've never played a tactics game before, and they said it's really easy. Like for people who've never played, it's like a really good introductory to the
Oh,
genre
you're
type
lucky.
game.
Oh, you're lucky.
I'm lucky.
I say you're lucky because Capcom, not Capcom, XCOM, could be difficult. So the fact that they are toning down on that difficulty is phenomenal for you then.
Yeah. I mean, it wouldn't have been too difficult for me because I've played them before, so I know what to expect. But it's just I never played XCOM. But yeah, it looks really good. I'm already a Star Wars fan, and I'm just happy to see people who actually care about the IP, um, you know, show it some love. They recently named, I think it was like earlier this week or maybe last week, where the developers got interviewed and they, revealed some of their inspirations for the game. And that's how I knew they were goated. They were like, we really took inspiration from the Star Wars animated series. God, I just had it in my head. I don't know what's going on with me. I think I'm hungry.
Oh yeah, I mean I'm hungry too, but Jedi Survivor.
Yeah.
Are you me?
No, 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 no,
Because
no,
I'm
no, no,
No.
not
hungry.
Jedi Survivor. Um, oh shit, Clone Wars. Jesus
Oh,
Christ,
okay.
it took inspiration from Star Wars Clone Wars as well as Andor, and I was like, yes,
Oh yeah,
goated
when
Star
they said
Wars. That's what I like
Andor.
to hear. I was like, yes, thank you. Some actually good Star Wars writing. That's what you should be focusing on. Um, and the lead writer for this particular game is the lead writer of the Jedi series. So he wrote the Jedi Survivor and the other Jedi game. So it's like I was like, okay, I trust this team. This is a really good team because I really love the writing of Jedi. It was very strong. It was very good. Star representation of Star Wars without having to go into what we already know, like the typical Star Wars characters, right? It was a nice branch off. So I was like, okay, I'm liking what I'm seeing and what I'm hearing right now. And just that they have really put a lot of care and thought into this game. And they wanted this to be, because this takes place um, during, I think it's during or after the Clone Wars, they said. I can't, it's somewhere around that era.
Yeah, it's
But,
basically they
they did
explained it's the fight that happens within the fight.
behind the scenes.
Yeah.
Yeah, this isn't like, the things you're doing aren't changing the trajectory of the fight, but it's like, the mini battles within the fight. And you will, the characters you meet, some of them will be agreeing with the Empire, some of them won't, and you have to make certain decisions, and you'll piss off certain people, or you'll make friends with others, and your decisions you make kind of build your team and how your team operates, right? And I really like that. I was like, oh yeah, that sounds amazing. And the customization in this game looks absolutely phenomenal. The way you'll be able to customize not only your character, like you can be any race, obviously human, but you can be like, you could actually be a clone. You could be all the different races of aliens that you want, like anything you want, you can pretty much be in this game. And you can also customize your team as well, like even like your main team, and the people who you might recruit. You can make like literally everyone a clone if you wanted to. You can make a team full of clones if you wanted to. But I thought that was a really cool feature that they added to to this game. And the way it makes so much sense when you think about it for Star Wars to have to be a tactics type of game because of just the, there's so many different types of fighters, whether it's like gunslingers and Jedi, and you got your you got your droids with R2D2s and things like that, and it's just like there's just so many different types of fighters in the Star Wars universe, and so many different types of battles that you can have, that a tactics game kind of makes sense for what Star Wars is. So I think that's like kind of a perfect IP to take on this genre. And from like everything I'm seeing, like the polish like from the previews, they've said that the amount of polish towards like the cutscenes in the story were the surprising part, because people who've played XCOM said XCOM the story was good, it was decent, and it was serviceable, but it wasn't like obviously the main part. The main part is like the gameplay, but they've really made a lot of effort to make the story as big a part of this game as the gameplay, and everybody who's
Absolutely.
played the preview said that the story is amazing. I was just like, oh shit, yes. And they were just like, it was giving them what they say, Mass Effect vibes through the story. And I was like,
They
oh, okay,
did.
okay, that's
They
that's
did.
pretty big praise. That's pretty big praise. Just the way, and like I could tell from like literally the quality of the cutscenes looks immaculate. Like, and everyone's saying that the character that you play, Quill, I think is the
Hawk.
character's name. Hawk. Okay, thank you. The character you play, you can obviously you can be a male or a female, but I think most of the people chose the male version. I was waiting to see if anybody chose the female, just so I could see how the quality of the voice acting was for the female, but I haven't seen anybody play with it yet, so I probably have to keep looking. But as far as the male Hawk goes, everybody's saying like the voice acting amazing. The way that he portrayed that almost Han Solo like character, um, they carried it immensely. And like it's like none of that cheesy ass writing that's been going on with Star Wars. Like this is like legit Star Wars writing, amazing writing, where your character is like obviously the head of this group of, you know, paid mercenaries, and you're here to do certain biddings, and you have to pick whether you want to help the empire or not. And like I said, based on what you choose and what your company wants, and some of your fellow companions, they might be against some of the choices you make, but you got to do what you got to do, and you're part of the game is building up these relationships with these characters. And the more you do certain jobs with them, and have gameplay interactions with characters, the higher and better their bond is, and then that increases their skill level, and you can unlock certain skills they can do, and which is obviously very important in a tactical game. And you want to choose the best characters based on the terrain. And anybody who's played a tactics game, you kind of know what you need to do in order to get the best outcome. But it just looks so good. Like I am so excited about this. And there's some, I don't want to say, they've revealed certain characters in the trailers, but I don't want to reveal them just in case somebody's missed them, because I didn't see that in the trailer, and I was like, oh, that kind of spoiled it for me. But you do see known famous characters from the Star Wars universe appear in this game. They mentioned one, I won't say who it is, but I'm sure there'll probably be others. But when this person showed up, I was like, oh my god, that looks so cool. Like their move set and the way they were able to do things, and they were kind of like a beast on the battlefield when you had them. It looked really cool. I'm just so excited. Again, being a Star Wars fan, and if you've been a Star Wars fan, you know how much Disney has kind of mistreated that IP as of late. Like they've had certain hits here and there, when it comes to Star Wars, like Andor, and like the recent animated series with Star Wars Maul. That was really great. But and I got to watch the other anime series that Star Wars just released to see if that's any good. But as far as like live action, it's just been fucking terrible. But as far as the movies go, but I am just so excited about this game. Like it's been on my list since and Nate showed it to me. So yeah, I'm day one with that. And it sucks because it also comes out the same day as uh Plague's Tale Resonant or Resonance.
Yep.
Um so I'm gonna be like jumping back and forth from these two games. I'm like, oh, every single time, I swear, it's like the games I want to play all come out on the same day. It never fails like that this happens, because it happened the same time around, what was it, March or May or whatever, when James
Traumata
Bond
and
and 007 and
Mi-
Batman and all that shit came out at the same time. I was like, oh my
yeah.
god. It never fails, never fails. But I don't care. Regardless, I'm playing both of these games. I'm super excited. I think, I could see a future where, Star Wars Zero Company ends up being my game of the year. If everything kind of falls into place
Absolutely.
and it looks like it's going to be as good as it looks. And 9 times out of 10, the game that I choose for game of the year like never wins, right? Or it doesn't, half the time it doesn't even get nominated. But I don't care. This is my personal game of the year. But I could see a future where Star Wars Zero Company is my game of the year if like Final Fantasy Resonance doesn't get it. But yeah, the first half of this year has been freaking amazing. I've been playing some great games, and the second half looks even crazier. This is not even mentioning Grand Theft Auto 6, which is going to be like the biggest game ever. I don't think it'll be my game of the year just because there's other games, but I doesn't mean I'm not anticipating this game. I'm so excited for Grand Theft Auto 6, but I think, there's just other games that I'm probably going to love even more. But yeah, Star Wars Zero Company is kind of where my head is at. My anticipation like is, you know, raised to the highest. And they said like you won't even be able to kind of finish all of the missions that are available, because there's like time limits. You can only complete so many missions in like a segment. So you kind of have to choose wisely which missions you prioritize and things like that. So I was like, oh, that sounds cool. That sounds like there's probably then multiple playthroughs, for this game, which is always fun. So yeah, I am really, really excited for Star Wars Zero Company. That's my probably most anticipated game for the next couple of months. I say that, but then I'm really also excited for Blood of the Dawnwalker, and I'm really, really also excited for Control Resonance. So it's like I'm really excited for every fucking game that I'm about to play.
But that's why I said
I
like the
can't.
end of the year, like the
It's
year's been
almost
good, but the end of
Mhm.
the year is about to go crazy.
Yeah, I
yeah.
think.
It's
Go
almost
ahead.
as if you're a gamer. Almost.
Yeah,
I'm
almost,
not sure.
almost, close. But it's like I'm, I, I'm not gonna go into the next one because I'm gonna let everybody else talk. But I was gonna say Blood of the Dawnwalker is probably the one I'm like most curious about to see if it like lands, because this is old CDPR team, and I'm like I love The Witcher, so I'm hoping this one you know lands, because I would really love another Witcher-esque team. That's more for me. I'm like, the meme, two cakes. Oh hell yeah, excited. Like give me both. Give me as many as you can. But yeah, this next half of 2026 is I'm so excited. If you can't tell, I'm very excited.
Absolutely.
Nah, can't tell.
Nah.
Yeah, and a lot of resonance going on this year. Like I said,
So say I had
play
three
play.
resonance. I have
Yeah,
Plague Tale Resonance, Control, I can't remember which one's resonant and which one's
resonant
resonance.
and resonance. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like Plague
Yeah.
Tale Resonance, Control
And then
Resonance,
there
and
is
then Final
Renaissance.
Fantasy
There is so many.
Resonant.
Evidence. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
I'm like, bro, like y'all had the same idea in 2026. Y'all was
Yeah.
like, you know what, the
That
theme should be resonance. Let's just all go
that's
for it.
how crowded it is.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, it is.
exactly.
But yeah, Omar, what was your thing that stood out? I'm assuming Blood of the Dawnwalker was a recent preview because you were jumping on that one. But was there anything else, or was that your pick for new previews and something that really got you excited for the game?
I'm excited for the Dawnwalker. I haven't seen a single preview about that.
I would think you'd be
Um,
excited about Phantom Blade.
Yeah,
I am
right.
more excited about Phantom Blade. This one I
See,
was
Okay.
I
joking
know, I know
about.
this man.
So
Cause
you
Which is
watched the
not
new
sold
gameplay.
like Omar.
All right.
one person at a time. Go ahead,
No, Omar.
we.
Which is not Souls like. So are you still excited?
It's not Souls. They literally said it's not Souls. So shut up.
Omar had the Drax moment right there. He missed the joke.
But yeah,
It's
no,
okay.
real talk though. I'm excited for Dawn Walker. I'm interested in the Dawn Walker because I think it's all about when it's gonna come out. Because I need money to buy all of them. So I need to prioritize which one I buy day one and which one I need to wait a bit before I can buy them physically PlayStation because I can as of right now. So yeah, um, another game I'm excited about is Control 2. So another one is Tide of Annihilation. So it's gonna be a crazy year, end of year, and I can't wait to see um what other there are so many games. There are Sacrifier. There is Eternal Lucas. There is what you call it um Castlevania Belmont. Like there is shit ton of games that's coming out this year alone. So I am super excited for end of the year
Absolutely.
situation.
Yeah,
And
shout out to
yeah,
RPG too. He just pointed out
and
Crimson
mind you,
Moon, which I put on the screen.
not to mention, yeah, not to mention games like what's that game that you love?
Fire Emblem.
No, the other one that I'm gonna play for the first time. Um,
Oh, there's a lot.
With a sword,
That's a lot.
Japan.
Oh, Animusha?
Yeah,
Oh,
thank you,
okay.
Onimusha. Yeah, so there's Onimusha. Like as you can see, it's anything but dry this year. So yeah, I can't wait to play them all.
Yeah, and Onimusha is
But for
just a
the
few
most,
days
it's
after those other games on the 27th because it got moved up to the 3rd.
Yeah, I think it's like right
uh,
next to Control.
Yep.
Or no, it's right next
No,
to
not
Blood of the
Control.
Dawnwalker.
Blood of the Dawnwalker, yeah.
but yeah, so it's gonna be interesting to see which games I prioritize over which game and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, I'm gonna play most of them if I can, or all of them if I absolutely can.
Absolutely. Weeb, was there anything that stood out to you in all the previews or anything new that you were excited for that kind of got you going, got you re excited or hyped after these past few weeks?
Well, anything new? I think I'm not sure if that when this comes out. Still, Sun Arc. I think you're also following them. I mean that looks pretty good. Like it really has no Scavenger's Drain vibes. You know, if you watch that anime series, you know what I'm talking about. If you
I do.
haven't, go watch it because it's absolutely amazing. Um, yeah, I mean all the games you mentioned. I mean, yeah, I'm also looking forward to the Metal Gear Solid 2 Master Collection
Oh
Yep.
because
yeah.
Also
finally
comes out on
they
the
Finally
27th of
free from
August.
PS3.
Right?
finally finally free from Sony's greedy hands.
Right.
um, yeah, I mean, yeah,
Did you
Resonance
not
plays
play them already? The game by itself?
yes, but
Okay,
I
interesting.
do one interesting. I was
No, I'm just curious if they added new content or stuff like that because of the amount of games that are coming out.
No, they don't have new content, but they're playable
Yeah, because they
outside of
were
Mm-hmm.
locked
PlayStation 3.
behind PS3 because
Yeah,
nobody could play
Okay,
it. Yeah, if you didn't have a PS3 at least.
and they're timeless,
gotcha.
so I don't care. Uh, Resonance, well, Dawn Walker as well. Wolverine, of course.
Hmm.
That
Oh yeah,
Control
there was a
Resonance.
recent showing for that. I forgot about that Wolverine.
And yeah, I do share your excitement for Castlevania, Belmont's Curse. Finally, an actual Metroidvania. Since a while. Also, look forward to Rayman Legends retold because I really enjoyed the original. Um, I mean, and if we're gonna cheat a bit and look beyond the year, Stranger Than Heaven, which also recently dropped a new gameplay trailer.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely, that's going to be probably my goatee next year. Because yeah, I mean, it looks amazing, and I don't know when it's coming out. Summer next year, Muramasa Revenant Blades, which is the remaster of the remaster of Muramasa. I think this is from Muramasa Rebirth, so the remaster of the original Muramasa, which only came out on the Wii and then on the Vita, and now it's finally on everything. I got so excited about that I just pre-ordered it twice. I pre-ordered the American deluxe edition because that has a little extra. Plus, the Switch 2 version is the only one that actually has the game on card, and I got the PlayStation 5 European version, which is a little less exciting, but still has the nice art book. So yeah, I mean, I'm gonna go full all out on that one because that's my favorite Vanillaware game, and it's finally getting its due on modern consoles. So yeah, I mean there's so many games like it's it's insane. Like they're just it's impossible to play them all at the same time, and yeah, I mean there's going to be choices to be made, and yeah, it's just like yeah, just keep on expanding the backlog. I was me saying like if you know if they stop making games tomorrow, I'm still good for years to come with the games that I still have to play. So yeah, it's just crazy. Yeah, but yeah,
Agreed.
exciting times.
Absolutely. Agreed. And with that, we're gonna go ahead and get up out of here, so everybody can eat. Everybody can get back to playing these
Sleep.
games.
Ooh, yes, please.
Yeah, or sleep. But yeah, I'm famished myself. But yeah, thank you everybody who came out today. It was a lot of fun. Again, chat super engaging. Uh, some really funny moments, and everybody just adding a lot of great context to a lot of the conversations. So yeah, again, appreciate everybody who came out. We even got some new people. Vicious was saying he popped in. He was able to catch us live for the first time from Will Stream. He heard about us from over there. So
Oh,
yeah,
that's what's up.
absolutely.
Shout out to Will.
Yeah, man.
Yeah,
Appreciate again everybody. Like I
keep, keep,
said,
keep on fighting, Will.
right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's been really really fun. Again, shout out to Vicious556, RPG88, Hero Down Under, Stage, Sanctus, of course, jumping in early. Morgan's biggest
Hey.
cheerleader. Um, as she makes to, she got to make sure the chat knows. And a couple
She
people who,
should.
who lurked, what I'm saying? Some people didn't comment, but, you could tell they were there. So everybody else that was lurking, um, anybody else I missed, I know my chat like reloaded. So, I think Will and stuff came in as well, like normal. So again, shout out to anybody I missed as well, or anybody like I said that was lurking, just didn't want to comment. But glad to have you here to listen. But with that, like I said, we're gonna get up out of here. Weeb, let the people know where they can find you, sir.
Yeah, you can find me on Twitter as the Weeb Sheriff at Infinite Rhizome. Yeah, I mean, uh, somehow we still manage to talk a lot about these topics as usual. And yeah, same time, very very worrying things happening in the industry, and also very exciting things with all these games coming. And yeah, I'm also quite worried about my wallet because I keep buying physical games and I can't help myself, can't stop. Um, but yeah, great conversation and great show as always, and of course, Other Nation.
Honor Nation. Morgan, where can the people find you, ma'am? Oh, her mic. She must have said it, and then her mic messed up.
It
Again?
messed up.
Oh,
Sorry.
there you go. Now I can hear you.
Yeah, sorry.
I was like, she didn't say Otter Nation. I was like, that's so weird.
No, I was like, no, not the mic right when the automation needed to be said. Oh man. All right. Yeah, you can find me also on Twitter, mostly lurking. But you'll find me mostly on PSN gaming. I have to go get the Mafia DLC because that was a fault on my part for not getting that. I got to finish the story. Big Mafia fan over here. But yeah, really great discussion today, guys. I always love these kind of arbitrary discussions of like preferences and things of that nature, as well as the industry. But I think we wrapped it up very nicely. The industry does suck, right? The business end of this industry is fucking terrible. But, at the end of the day, we are gamers, and there are just so many great games, just as we just talked about with the last topic, to play. We all have a crazy backlog. We're all trying to figure out the time and when to play all these games that are coming up, like in just a week or two, to be honest. So that's always exciting for me. I am just so excited about what's next when it comes to all these games that are coming out. I can't wait because I feel like my game of the year is just somewhere lurking in these next few months. It's here, it's waiting for me, and I can't wait to find
Yeah,
what it is.
same.
But
Yeah.
yeah, thank you guys for the great turnout. Thanks for coming and speaking in the chat. I always love when you guys talk in the chat. Y'all are hilarious, to be honest. But yeah, see you guys next week. Hopefully with some, great positive news about gaming.
Right.
But yeah, Otter Nation.
Otter Nation. And then
Combination.
Omar, where can the people find you, sir?
Shout out to everyone that came through. Hit that like button to stream out. Like Morgan said. Um, one last thing before we go, because it's important. If you fuck with Kingdom Hearts 4, don't watch the trailer. They
Oh
spoiled
man,
some
they
gameplay
spoiled.
mechanics. Yeah, if you care about that stuff, Square Enix have always the habit of doing stuff like that. But yeah, I'm gonna end it. Play your game. Play your game.
Nope. And with that, I'm your host, Innate, or known as the Real Innate on Twitter and Blue Sky. Um, yeah, again, man, it's all about the games at the end of the day. So keep enjoying them, keep playing these great games, supporting these devs, and supporting the industry at least the best way we can, while making your voices heard. However, we need to take the fight to them. But yeah, man, in the meantime, we still going to be out here supporting the developers, because that's who it's really about. You know what I'm saying? They take all this time, and talent and incredible, wherewithal, to create a lot of these great games for us. It is incredibly difficult. So I am forever grateful for every talented person that has ever, you know, graced a, program to create a game, whether
Yes,
it's for
yes.
me or not, you know. Yeah. But yeah, thank you again, for everybody that came out. Thank you again to all the developers, because without y'all, we could not game. And we're out of here. Otter Nation.
Combination.
Otter Nation.